the end of time.
O'clock.
Hey everybody, here we are again. It's Wednesday night. Everybody's in the chat.
Yeah.
Some of you seem already familiar with this case. I can't believe we haven't done this guy yet. I kind of say that every time we do another serial killer case.
Another serial killer.
We just never run out of serial killers. That's pretty depressing.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy here, yeah, I see that CB knows, he says, why do most gay serial killers look like the back end of a rat?
He seems to look like a rat's ass.
He
does look like ass. He
does. And like I said, he doesn't even look as normal as he looks like in the picture that I used for the thumbnail and the pictures that he used on his profiles, because one, he was much older than those pictures because they were old, and also he wore a wig because he started balding when he was real young, which, you know, that sucks, but you gotta fucking deal with it, you know what I mean? CB said this guy could be Tom's Halloween costume this year.
Nah.
He needs, like, some weird cross-eye kind of action. You're not... I mean, he's, like, pretty slender.
Yeah.
And he was real tall. Like, he was a real, kind of a big, lanky dude. You know what I mean?
He makes John Lydon fucking look like a supermodel.
Yeah.
He's kind of a fucked up looking version of fucking John Lydon.
He is kind of fucked up looking.
Yeah.
But, you know. Not, I mean, not his fault, I guess, but it's just like...
Some of his
what are you
lifestyle.
gonna do? It was funny because right before the show, because Pookie was in here running around, and right before the show, and I was saying, oh, the pictures that this guy used on his dating app profiles were usually older. He had, like, different names. He had, like, all kind of different fake shit about, like, what schools he went to and all this other kind of nonsense. And then Tom said, wouldn't it be funny if Pookie catfished people and, like, had a dating profile and then, like, used pictures of our other cat, Beijing, on her dating profile, because Beijing is, like, this princessy, like, supermodel looking, she's a ragdoll kitty, but she looks kind of like a Persian.
Yeah.
And how funny that would be. Like,
big bushy tail.
So I pictured, like, little Pookie sitting in here on my laptop, like, making a dating profile and putting pictures of Beijing.
Yeah.
And then when she shows up for the date, she looks like little... Yeah. She's a little Pookie, like, with her little stumpy tail.
Short round.
I call her short round.
Gray, no tail.
I call her short round sometimes. Yeah. Because she is kind of... Well, you know, she's like a classic Manx. They have little short legs, and they're kind of round. Round head, little round body, low to the ground.
Yeah. Beige is long and skinny and fluffy.
Yeah, she's like real super fluffy.
Yeah, and she knows she's pretty. She acts pretty.
Yeah, she's just like...
Yeah.
She's always like that all the time.
She doesn't want anybody bothering her. She doesn't like other cats.
So we thought that'd be funny if Pookie used that for fucking... I was like, I don't think Pookie cares what she looks like, though. I think Pookie's adorable. We love Pookie just the way she is. But that's like kind of a funny thing. But yeah, so yeah, this dude was like a catfisher type of dude. And as CB pointed out...
Did you get pictures of him?
I didn't put any pictures of him because fuck that guy. But I do have some pictures of his victims, though.
All right.
But, you know what I mean? There's a picture of him on the thing.
He always looks kind of greasy and dirty. Skinny, greasy, and dirty. In all the photographs, to me.
Yeah.
Looks like just oily.
Could be because he's a chef. He's covered with cooking oil.
Yeah, I don't know.
Perhaps.
Or doesn't bathe.
I don't know. Maybe that too. I mean, he's probably got all kind of horrible habits.
Yeah.
This dude.
Looks like he hadn't taken a bath in a couple days. Every photograph I saw on her, I was just like, ugh.
And the funny thing is, like, a lot of the pictures, because I watched a few documentaries about this guy, and, like, all the pictures that he put on his dating profiles, it was kind of your classic shirt off, taking a picture with your phone in front of the mirror. Just like, please stop doing that. Like, those pictures like look so fucking stupid. But yeah, all of them are like that, and they're not great. Like, the lighting isn't great. It's just like, hey, I'm gonna take a picture of my bathroom mirror. Like, you know, at least remember to flush your toilet if that's the case. You know what I mean? So nobody sees little turds floating around in the bowl.
Yeah. That's
but,
a
like,
meme.
I know it is. I know it is. That's why I said it. But yeah, so he had all pictures like that, or just pictures of his stomach or whatever. Like, you know, he wasn't, at least in the pictures that he posted, he wasn't fat or anything like that. I mean, he did go to the gym and shit like that, but he was like pretty slender, like I said, and he was real tall. I don't know how tall he was, but you could see him like in some of the CCTV footage they have of him, like with one of his victims.
He competed on MasterChef too.
Well, he didn't compete.
He didn't?
He was in the background.
He's in the background. Okay.
That was Celebrity MasterChef.
Oh, okay.
He was just worked in one of the kitchens.
Okay.
Because I thought that too, and I
saw
think,
a photograph
and
of
I
it.
think some people erroneously reported that he had competed on MasterChef,
yeah.
but the one that he was on, I think, was Celebrity MasterChef, which I think was maybe a British version of it, obviously, and he was in one of the kitchens where they were doing the shit.
All right.
Because he was only on one episode, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, they did show clips of that in like one of the documentaries. But yeah, so if you don't know who this dude is, he's serial killer, serial rapist also. He actually killed 4 men that they know of, and raped several others. They did finally catch him. He's still alive because this wasn't that long ago, and he is doing like a whole life sentence. So they're never letting him out, basically.
He's in the UK, huh?
It's in the UK. And the thing about it, as CB pointed out earlier, the Metropolitan Police, because this happened in East London, got a shitload of backlash about this because they didn't connect the crimes until like the 4th kid. I mean, it wasn't a kid; they're in their 20s, but you know what I mean. They look like kids, and
he was into twinks.
Because he was into like he was into like young guys that looked even younger. You know what I mean? That were like a lot smaller than him, and So they didn't link the crime. Really, I think the heroes of this story are was it the mom or was it 2 sisters? I can't remember. But the relatives of the 4th victim, whose name was Jack Taylor, they just kept pushing and pushing and pushing because they knew that something was going on. And I mean, really, all of the gay community in London knew that this was a killer. And they kept, like, bothering the police, like, would you please fucking do something about it? It's obviously these crimes are related. But the cops seemed to really not... Because the way he killed them, they just said, oh, it's just overdoses. It's just, gay men doing gay things. And they just didn't want to know. Like, it was accidental overdoses or suicide or whatever. And they seemed to, like, not really want to investigate it. Could it have been homophobia? Probably. Partially. Or partially they just didn't want to get involved. I don't really know. You know what I mean? It seems like...
Well, it seems kind of like the British police, they're not real go-getters. Like, they're not trying to get a conviction. I don't know. Here in the U.S., fucking, you kill somebody, they're coming after you.
Well, they do over there, too. Because a lot of people over there pointed out if these were, pretty 20-year-old white women, they would be falling over themselves to solve the shit. You know what I mean? But because it's, like, younger gay men... who were maybe possibly into drugs or it was drug related, then they didn't want to know. You know what I mean? It could be because it could, the same kind of thing happens too when, sex workers get murdered. It's not as bad as it used to be, obviously, but it's the same kind of thing. Like, people say that, like, who the victim is doesn't matter. Yeah, it does. It absolutely does matter.
Yeah.
So, like, how hard they're gonna work to investigate it. They might deny that, but
yeah, we went through this already. If it's sex workers, the reason why they're not real fucking. I mean, they don't do. They're not real gung ho about fucking trying to solve it. It's because they know they're not going to be able to. Because the normal investigative procedures fucking don't quite work with a prostitute. They're seeing fucking 5-10 dudes a day. They don't know any of them. There's nothing to connect them. Usually when a woman gets killed, it's the husband or the boyfriend. And at least you know where she was. You know who she was with when she got killed, more or less. There's like a chain of evidence, or chain of witnesses. But not with hookers. They're just getting into random cars constantly.
Yeah,
They're just random dudes. You'd never be able to backtrack where she'd been.
So it almost seems like they are kind of like, we don't even want to bother trying. You know what I mean?
Well,
they're not all like that, obviously. Well,
it foils their techniques. Even if they find even if they find a dude's DNA on her, it doesn't mean anything either.
That doesn't mean that was the one that killed her.
She had sex with fucking 8 dudes that day. It's just you don't know. It's hard. You need witnesses with them usually, and fucking direct DNA, you know, something that they go, yeah, this is that same dude. Every time we find these dead girls, it's got this dude's DNA is on her. That's
yeah,
him,
they have to
that
like
type of
start
shit.
linking it.
Yeah, they have to start.
But the thing about
you need
it
multiple victims and
was
stuff.
that these 4 crimes happened in a relatively short span of time, about a year and a half, something like that. All 4 of the victims, well, 3 of the victims were found like almost in the exact same place, and the 4th victim was found in front of this dude's apartment building, and and they didn't link them, and they had all died the same way, and nobody. Well, the cops didn't think that was suspicious, and were like, no, these are absolutely not linked. Even though everybody in the community was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure those are absolutely linked. And the thing about it was that they did arrest this dude after the first victim for reasons we'll get into, but not for murder, though. And they didn't even do due diligence then. You know what I mean? They just bought whatever cockamamie story he came up with. They didn't investigate him any further, and he went on to kill 3 more people. And he did a bunch of rapes too. Let's not forget about that. He didn't murder all of them, but he did absolutely rape a bunch of people, and he got a bunch of convictions for that as well. So, yeah, just kind of a shit show all around. I kind of feel like 3 men would still be alive if the cops had done their fucking job, but you know, I'm not the first person that says that. Pretty much every documentary I saw, like, everybody was on there saying the same fucking thing. Like, what the hell? Like, all these cops are, like, fucking brain dead or whatever. But, like I said, the real heroes of the story were Jack Taylor's relatives, who just kept at it and kept at it and kept at it. And just basically put the cops' feet to the fire and made them, look, these are all related, and they were coming up with their own shit, you know what I mean? And they're still kind of salty about it. They're like, we were doing the cops' jobs for them, and they were. I mean, really. So, I don't know if it would have been solved if it wasn't for them. Maybe they would have got around to it after this dude had killed, like, a bunch more people. But sad enough that he had to kill 4 people before they fucking figured it out. You know what I mean? Zach says, I speak from experience. Grindr is a cesspit, even at the best of times. Way too many old married dudes on there who are 50 to 60 plus with very questionable ideas of consent. Yeah, I kind of feel like this dude, there's a word for it, but I can't remember what it is. He's not a necrophile. This is not like Jeffrey Dahmer territory, but it's on that spectrum, because he has a fetish for raping, because don't say having sex with, because you can't consent when you're unconscious, for raping unconscious dudes.
Didn't they call it somnophilia?
Something like that. Yeah, I think that's what it was. It's something like that. So that is a fetish, and he was on like a bunch of forums and stuff, like talking about that kind of stuff. Like, he got off on it. Which, you know, if you're just on there talking about it and not actually doing it, fine. But this dude was actually doing it, as we'll see, because he was kind of into... And I kind of feel like maybe... I don't think anyone said this but me. But the fact that 3 of his victims were dumped in a cemetery, I kind of feel like maybe he would have gone toward necrophilia in the end. Because unconscious and dead... There's not really that much difference between those 2 things. You know what I'm saying?
He might have eventually gotten to that.
That's what I'm saying. I think if he'd kept going, I think he would have become a necrophile. If he wasn't already.
He wasn't in the kind of environment where you could dump a body and then get back to it and be alone with it. He was dumping them in busy city streets, so he couldn't go back. Ridgeway, he'd dump them out on the fucking side of a lake, you know, or a river. Nobody would see it. He'd come back for fucking weeks sometimes.
Save it for later.
Yeah, come back and get it.
It's a fucking
and they asked, why'd you go back? Dude, and he goes, well, it was free. It was free. It didn't cost me anything.
Okay.
And the cops are like counting the numbers and like that. Dude, she'd been out there for 2 weeks in the summer. You know, so rotten.
They're like, ew.
Yeah.
And it's like, ew, I had to touch this dude's hands to put cuffs on him. Like,
and he was going back home to his wife and shit.
I need to go take a Silkwood shower. Yeah, like, that's like fucking horrible.
I guess he'd take all his clothes off, and then fucking when he was done, he'd go out to the fucking creek, and go out in the river, and fucking wash
I kind of
out
feel
the
like,
way.
would you ever really be able to get that smell completely off?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. Maybe he covered it up with cologne, too.
Well, that would make me even more suspicious.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell are you trying to cover up with all that fucking high karate, whatever the fuck you put.
Yeah.
Do they make high karate anymore?
That's the old shit.
I know that's old too. I just thought of that was the first one I thought of because they make jokes about it on MST all the time.
They still make Old Spice. They sell stuff from Old Spice.
Well, yeah,
I got Old Spice soap.
They're kind of having like a little bit of a, I don't know about resurgence, but they're still doing okay because they do all that body wash and stuff.
Yeah.
And their commercials are funny.
Yeah.
So I think they're doing all right still. I don't know how much of the cologne and stuff
they just sell soap.
They probably just sell like body wash and stuff like that. That sells better, I'd imagine.
You call it body wash. I'm a man. I'm gonna call it soap. All right. Body wash. They're too fruity.
It's too fruity. Well, it's just kind of like
fucking soap, man.
Perfume for men. They have to call it cologne, even though it's perfume. It's the same shit. It's just funny that they have to call it a different name.
It's fucking soap, man.
That they're fucking man. Masculinity, it's just so fragile. You have to like come up with your own manly sounding words for the same shit. Like,
sounds too fucking fruity.
It's not a doll, it's an action figure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's like that kind of shit. That's like fucking hilarious to me. It's hilarious. It's like, no, it's a doll. So, you know, just, it's fine. Just get over it. So, yeah. Oh my God. Zach says, I remember when that Old Spice shit was everywhere in the 2000s. Yeah. Yeah, seriously. Let me see. Now, Zach is also saying, CB said the bar I go to, apps like Grindr are banned. And Zach said it's mainly useful for seeing who's down when I'm at the gay bar. Yeah, and the thing about it, this guy did use Grindr a lot, but he used a bunch of other apps too, because like I said, he had profiles on a fuck ton of different like hookup apps. And some of them, I had like a list of some of the names because some of them were really funny. And I was like, man, gay hookup apps have the best fucking names. I wish they could, like, they're so, I don't know why they have
My boy Gramps just talking about busting fucking gay dudes down the, what did he say?
Where?
Grampers.
I know, but, this may sound strange, but in my cop days, every time I busted married men on the down low with other married men in public, they wanted to fight me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you saw them in a compromising situation, like I said, that made them feel less manly, so they're like, well, okay, now I have to punch you in the dick because
they're gonna tell the wife.
Because man card.
Yeah.
Like, because you saw me with my dick in another dude's butt, and we can't have that.
You're assuming that's what he saw.
Well, no, I'm just, you know. Like, why?
Probably out there blowing each other.
So he has to, like, punch the other dude to, like, so I'm still a man, goddammit. Gay men can punch people, too, you know that, right? I don't know, it's just very funny. It's just all very funny to me. Yeah.
They're gonna rationalize it. They say I'm not gay, I just like dicks.
Yeah,
Shit
which
like
which is also funny.
I'm not into the band. I'm just into the
Which
dick.
at least why like if you have a wife and you
shit
enjoy having sex with your wife, but you also enjoy having sex with men, then you're bisexual. It's fine. It's a thing. You know what I mean? Just admit it. It's like it's just very silly. It's very silly. How everybody just has to be. I'm not gay.
I said this earlier before on one of the other shows. I was watching this this fucking show that had like a couple of porn stars on it and a high-end escort, and then they had this dude he was a gay dude. And he was a psychologist, and he was like a sexual psychologist, and he said he made a whole living off of fucking convincing dudes that they weren't gay. And he said there is a species of guy that is just fixated on dicks. All right.
Yeah.
They want to have sex with dicks, and they're fucking, or they want to see dicks and shit. But they're married, and they don't want the dude. They don't want a relationship with the dude, or they don't even want to kiss the dude. They're just it's like a dickophilia.
Yeah.
And this guy was saying that because he was gay, he says no, to be gay you have to be. He said to really be gay you have to be like wanting relationships with men,
Like romantically.
Yeah, that's like a romantic thing.
Romantically / sexually
right,
interested.
Right.
Exclusively. Yeah.
He was saying that it was with them. It's more like a paraphilia. It's like a kink.
So yeah, it's slightly different.
Yeah. I still think it's gay, but.
But like I said, it's just
But
I don't
other
know.
gay dudes wouldn't consider it to be gay because
No.
you can't have a relationship with them type of deal.
Yeah.
They're saying that's not full blown gay.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
well, like I said, that's why it's always words mean things, and we need words that mean certain things, but you can't. I mean, there's always shades of gray in between, and so it's like hard, especially something like sexuality, which is just all over the fucking spectrum. You can't really like put it into these discrete little categories because like some people are just all over the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was saying that there are straight dudes that fucking want to be forced into that shit because they're scared of it and they don't like it. If they did like it, they'd be gay. They don't like it. And for some real weird thing, it's like sadomasochism. Yeah. They're enjoying not liking it.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Well, that's a pretty common
it's like a weird
general kink.
Yeah.
It's a pretty common general kink to be forced into doing something you don't want to do.
Right.
Because it's a fear thing, and it's like almost like conquering your fear.
Kind of like jumping off of fucking like jumping off the top of a building with a parachute.
Yeah.
You don't really want to jump, man, but you got to do it, type of deal. Yeah, because today you're fucking base jumping.
It's a similar kind of thing.
Kind of like that, I guess.
So it's not really that weird, and like I said, it's a pretty common. That's a pretty common general kink. Yeah. Side quest here on Sirius says, "Sorry, I can't stay. I've got the COVID real bad. Holy shit. And I can't focus. I'll have to watch this one on replay." Yeah, my mom just had it recently, and my brother did too. So, yeah, it's still out there.
Yeah, it's called a cold.
But yeah, I hope you feel better. Hope you feel better, Steven. CB said, "Last time I walked in on two friends fucking, I got a BJ from both of them and to stay quiet." Stay silent.
Who's this?
And you didn't.
Who's that?
CB did.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. All right, so you want to get started on this
Go ahead.
thing? We can kind of just go off on different. Like I said, for some reason, the serial killer shows, the crime shows, I guess they're a lot easier for me to do because they're like a lot more straightforward. You know what I mean? It's like, XYZ happened, all this other kind of stuff. Ones that are kind of more freewheeling are kind of more difficult to research, I guess. But this one was pretty easy. There's actually a lot of stuff about this dude. Because like I said, this wasn't that long ago. Like his crimes were 2014, 2015. So it's still, in recent memory. So this guy, I don't know if they know a great deal about his family. It seemed like a pretty normal upbringing. He was actually originally from Southend-on-Sea, which is in Essex. But when he was a baby, they moved to Dagenham, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, in East London. And that's pretty much where he grew up. His parents still live there. Now, when he was a kid, just like a lot of serial killers, they said he was kind of a loner. He was real quiet. Got bullied a lot. I saw some pictures of him as a kid. He looked kind of geeky, like kind of dorky. Like he had big glasses and stuff like that. Like he looked like a normal looking kid, but he had big glasses and a lot of people picked on him and shit like that. They also said that even into his adulthood, like teenage, when he was a teenager and adulthood, that he was real immature and real childlike, and like in a weird way that people would comment on. They said this documentary that I watched, there's one on, actually I think it's on Hulu, but I can't remember what it was called, but there's a documentary about him on there. It's either on Hulu or HBO Max, I don't remember. But they had a pretty long interview with a guy named Ryan, who was one of his neighbors, like who lived in a flat like near his, and knew him for quite a long time. Didn't know what he was up to, like he didn't know him that well, but he went over to his flat sometimes and invited him to parties and things like that. And he said that he was having a party at his flat one time, and Stephen Port was coming to the party, and it was his birthday. And he gave Stephen Port like a kid's like fire truck toy. And he said he thought that was the coolest thing ever. And he said at the party, in the middle of this adult party with people doing adult party things, like, drinking booze and shit like that, he's like sitting on the floor like a kid would, like pushing the fire truck around and like happy as a pig and shit.
Bitch just trying to get attention.
I guess, but they said he was like that a lot. Like pretty much when he was growing up as a teenager, and he would always like play with toys. Like he had all these toys in his apartment, and he would like play with them like a kid would play with them. And some of his earlier boyfriends said that too. That said that he was real immature and like childlike in a creepy, weird way. Yeah. Which is a reason that some of them gave for breaking up with him. So when he was 16 years old, which in the UK is usually when you think about, college or whatever the hell you're going to do, he actually wanted to go to art school. And I think he did go for a little while, but then his parents couldn't afford the tuition anymore. And so he had to do something else. So he fell back on going to like sort of, I guess it was like a trade school kind of thing that took 2 years, and he trained to be a chef. Now, he didn't actually come out as gay until his mid-20s, you know, probably pretty common for the time. And he actually lived with his parents until he was in his early 30s. Even though he had a job and shit like that, but he lived with them for a while. And then he moved into a flat on his own in Barking, which is also in East London. And he got a job as a chef, like not at a high-end place. I think it was like at a bus depot or something. You know what I mean? Like, I guess a bus depot that had like a cafe in it or something. Like, I guess he cooked there. And as we mentioned earlier, he actually did show up in the background of an episode of Celebrity MasterChef. I don't know what year that was, though. But there was clips of it. He wasn't a contestant, though, like I said. But he was pretty prominent.
Yeah, they showed clips of it. I thought he was working. I thought he was contestant.
He was, like, working in the kitchen that they were in, that they were filming in.
I got you.
You know what I mean? So, this is a guy, like I said, he had a job, like he could function in day-to-day life. I didn't hear anything about him being a fuck-up or anything like that, or getting fired. He had a job for, like, a long time. Now, when he was younger, like a lot of kind of young gay men did, like he'd go to the gym all the time and try to keep himself in shape and shit like that. Like I said, he's pretty slender, but you could tell that he kind of worked out a little bit and all this other kind of shit. Now, he started losing his hair when he was a teenager still, I think. It happens to some people. I knew a guy in school that happened to. And he was, like, bald by the time he was, like, 23. And the same thing happened to this dude, which, like I said, kind of sucks, but not a lot you can do about it. That's genetics. So, he was really self-conscious about it, I guess, as most people would be. And he actually wore wigs most of the time, and he paid for good ones. Like, he'd go get professional ones, like toupee type stuff that were like fastened on your head somehow. Like, I'm not really sure how they do that.
They weave them into your hair, I think.
Well, he didn't have any hair. Well, he had some hair on the sides.
Yeah, they weave a net.
So I think they wove it in.
They weave a net on your good part.
But
of
he
your hair,
had some different ones.
And then they fucking weave that shit to the net that they weaved in there.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what they were doing.
Yeah, they weave a net.
So it wasn't like he just had like cheap ass wigs like I got, like
just throw it on.
where you just throw it on.
Yeah.
It cost like $20 or something, and I just had a bunch of different colors. Like,
No,
but I think
shit's like a fucking grand.
Yeah, I think he had more than one because his neighbor Ryan said, yeah, he always had like a different hairstyle, and he's like, and I never really thought about it until after he got arrested and he saw his booking photo. And he's like, he's fucking bald. Like, he didn't realize he was fucking bald. Like, he didn't realize it was a wig all that time, which I thought was pretty amusing. But, because he always had different looking hair. Because you can see in some of the pictures, because they have a bunch of pictures of him all over the internet that they took from his different dating profiles and stuff. And he mostly has this kind of short, blonde, shaggy looking surfer sort of hair. But there's kind of some different ones in there, too. Not too crazy, but, you know. So I thought that was kind of funny. But he apparently, like, paid good money to get, like, decent wigs because he was real self-conscious about it, like I said. So he would go on these dating apps, hookup apps. And that's kind of how he would find, you know, hookups or victims. And I love the names of some of these apps. Like, I'd heard of some of these, but not some of them. Like Grindr, obviously. Sleepy Boy, which is where he found one guy. Fit Lads. I thought that was kind of funny. There's also one called Gaydar.
Yeah, Gaydar.
Manhunt. That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
And there's one called Couch Surfing.
Okay.
Which I was kind of like, okay. And there's also one called Daddy Hunt, which, you know. And Slave Boys. That was another one that he was on. But he had... you know what I mean?
Slave Boys.
You can tell. Well, that's kind of good because, like, you know exactly what you're getting into if you go on that app. You know what I mean?
Probably some scary motherfuckers on there, but...
I bet there is.
Creepy bitches. Dudes are already fucking perverted.
Yeah, they're scary
you get
people.
two perverts together and then fucking, oh shit.
There's scary people on every dating app, no matter what sexuality is represented. You know, so I'm sure there's like scary people on there just like there are on the fucking straight ones. But yeah.
Fucking
What?
I can't imagine the fucking gay scene. Like you know, at the club, fucking Toby, he's a friend of mine. He's a leather daddy, and fucking he's like, oh, you gotta watch these gay dudes, man. They're fucking perverts. I was like, they're perverted. Oh yeah, they're fucking perverted. He's just fucking funny. It's funny because gay dudes have fucking homophobia.
Well,
they're homophobic.
He kind of does. But
I kind of noticed I kind of fucking have noticed homophobia in a lot of the gay dudes that I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones we know hang out in the straight scene.
True.
And they don't want to get in there with those dudes. It's, oh, they're crazy. You know, it's like you know, whatever. Because our scene's kind of, we're in a cool scene, but it's just mixed. So
yeah,
it's like
just
a normal
kinda,
environment.
It's just kind of everybody doing whatever.
I can imagine when it'd be like just nothing but dudes trying to fuck each other, man. It'd be unchecked. There's nobody there to fucking keep them in reality.
Yeah. Are you saying?
You're saying Zach in his fucking bathhouse.
That's women's job to keep
women kind
keep
of
men in reality.
Exactly. Women do kind of fucking.
That's a lot of pressure.
women do kind of keep dudes from fucking going crazy. I think they keep you a little more grounded.
Yeah.
Because they'll check you on your shit.
Yeah, that's true.
You get a bunch of dudes together at all just trying to fuck each other, it's gonna get dangerous, man.
Actually, even if they're not
bad
trying,
shit's gonna
even
happen.
if they're not trying to fuck each other, bad shit's gonna happen.
Well, that's how I say it. Cause
I mean, somebody's gonna get shot, or
Yeah.
somebody's gonna fall off a roof,
That's what I'm
or
saying.
something like that.
Just
Because they'll just do dumb shit. If they don't have a woman going, "What the fuck are you doing, you idiot?"
just a bunch of straight dudes together, you know, being in the army and stuff, they do fucking crazy shit. And I can imagine what it'd be like they're all trying to fuck each other. Man, that could go wrong. That could go sideways real quick.
It could, yeah. I mean,
yeah. You're gonna have Herb Baumeister and shit fucking in there, and fucking Jeffrey Dahmer.
yeah.
You know.
Although, you know, I mean, there are some famous gay serial killers.
Yeah.
But not that many. I mean, I guess it's...
Well, there aren't very many gay men.
That's what I was going to say. That's it's
15%.
proportionate to, like, the...
Then you have fucking Dean Coral, that fucking sick bitch. What he was doing with them boys. Fucking...
I think that they made a documentary about the kid, his sidekick that killed him.
Yeah.
I think it's called The Serial Killer's Apprentice.
Yeah.
I think it's a series or it's a documentary. They just put it up. Like,
oh man, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, well, we could watch it later. I've been wanting to watch it, but I didn't know if you were going to be.
That's just going to be a downer, man.
Well, yeah. I know. I get into the true crime shit. Like, I started a new show. I still been watching one called Blood Relatives, which is all kind of about family. But in a way, it's like there's no suspense to it because you know their fucking relatives killed them, right? Yeah. You know, because that's kind of the whole premise of the show. And it's all reenactment. They don't really... So it's not quite as depressing as seeing the real shit. But I started one last night called How Not to Hide a Body. And that one's just about people that went to, like, great lengths to hide the body. Like, hey, they put it in this box and, you know, put concrete all around it and dumped it in this hole out in the desert. Or they put it in a... Actually, there was one we were watching last night that was the Warlocks motorcycle gang. Yeah. And they actually threw somebody in, like a crypt, like in a cemetery. And the cops were like, man, we never would have fucking found it if there was like some lucky little coincidence that they found it. But it's just like we never would have found him otherwise. Because it was this huge fucking cemetery in Pennsylvania. And it's like nobody knew where this kid was. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But I don't know. It's... because we were talking about how scary it is. Like all the fucking... I wonder sometimes... Are dudes more perverted than women? I'm not sure. I think they're more overtly perverted than women.
Women are more in a weird
I think women
situation.
think of weirder shit, but they don't usually act on it. I don't know. In my experience, I think women think of weirder shit. They just don't really want to do it, or they're like a lot more secretive about it. Maybe I'm not sure.
From what I've been. From what I've been hearing, you know, women are more into, they fantasize about weird situations. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And dudes aren't really, that's not deep enough. Dudes are a lot more shallow. They're like just talking about some weird act you're going to do. That, you know, so it's more sexual, specifically just some kind of sex act.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, that's one thing I've
It's
noticed.
not some situation that it
Generally is that, and I know not everybody's the same, but it's like generally dudes just like a visual of like an act taking place.
Yeah, to a certain.
Whereas
kind of moment or
women
something,
usually need context behind that, like for it to be hot.
Yeah, we're not just fucking. We're fucking underneath the Christmas tree at Christmas, and he's not your husband.
Well, there's like a whole.
Yeah, it's all kinds of weird.
It
shit.
has to be a whole situation, but that's why women
Yeah.
like to read erotica.
Yeah.
More than men do, is because there's a whole situation, there's a whole story behind it. That makes it way hotter because it's like, you know who these people are, or you've read about, these characters or whatever, and it's just like this whole thing. It's a whole build-up.
With dudes, it's a lot more. It's more simplistic, and I think maybe stronger. Strong desires for a woman that looks a certain way. You're gonna do this to her or that. It's just real primitive, basic. It doesn't even require any imagination. Doesn't even fucking, like, a woman could just imagine something and get off on it. Dude can't do that. A dude has to see something.
And sometimes seeing things like is distracting.
Yeah.
Because that's someone else's idea.
With dudes, it's all just a reaction to some kind of sensory input, something he's seeing or something that he's doing or something that he's, it's a reaction to some kind of visual thing that's going on. It's just different. I think the male sex drive across all the different species seems just to be more rudimentary, more primitive.
Yeah, and I think sometimes that's why women get like frustrated a lot because, and men get frustrated with women too.
Just real simple, yeah.
Because they just want to like do something like really simple and everything like that, and when we're like, well, no, I need this whole you need this whole fucking setup, otherwise it's not going to do it for you. You know what I mean? So I get it. It's but like I said, I know not everybody's the same, but. And Tanya said, I think when women actually do stuff, it's almost worse than men. Yeah, it's like, I don't know if I'd say it's worse, but
it's more like they mean
sometimes it's just as bad. And yeah, well, here's the thing. Whenever a woman, unless she's clearly crazy, like that Shabusiness chick.
Yeah, like Shabusiness.
Because that woman was fucking insane. But when a woman does something, it's almost kind of like I said, most women serial killers are generally, they kill for practical reasons, not sexual reasons. To get insurance money or, they're Black Widow type shit. Or, they're trying to do like that kind of Munchausen by proxy kind of shit. Like they're killing babies or old people or whatever. Yeah. Like to feel heroic or like they have a God syndrome over somebody. Like it's not usually for sexual reasons. It's women are generally not wired that way. There are a few out there, but not that many. But
a male serial killer would just kill women because he likes boobs.
Yeah,
that's how simple.
That they're just like fixated on. And we've talked about a lot of serial killers that just had very simple things that happened in their childhood that made them fixate on. Look at BTK, for example, who fixated on those like old school like crime magazines and novels and stuff with the pictures on there with the women tied up, and he just developed a whole fucking personality around that. And wanted that like the whole rest of his life and was willing to kill to get it. You know what I mean? You don't usually see women serial killers doing that. Like I said, usually it's a practical thing unless they're super super crazy.
The male sexual apparatus, physical and psychological, is a lot more rudimentary. It's more simple.
Yeah.
It doesn't require a lot of brain power. And it's almost kind of superficial in a certain way.
Yeah.
It's very superficial.
Yeah.
That's why it's odd. I consider myself, being ex-military, fucking in combat arms and fucking fighting and fucking a lot. And I consider myself kind of violent. But not towards people that I like. And not towards women. And it has nothing to do with sex. So I can't understand it that a dude is killing a woman because of some kind of sexual thing. That's just like, that doesn't mix with me. I don't understand that.
Well, that's why a lot of people don't understand it. That's why we have all these documentaries about serial killers, because everyone's fascinated by that shit because it's weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's weird.
It is weird.
Because to me, sex was just not really it's not really a big deal. That was always available. Why would you kill somebody over that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's only a few seconds anyways. A few seconds of fucking you busted a nut, But
then you fall asleep.
Somebody has to die for you to bust a nut, and you're like, man, don't you feel guilty afterwards? But they don't. They don't.
No, they don't.
And it's
Well,
just,
they're sociopaths, so
yeah.
they don't feel guilty about anything. They're just using a thing.
I don't think it's a big deal to them either to kill somebody.
No. Yeah, I don't think there's any difference. The way you feel about
eating something or fucking
like they feel like just like that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm just gonna eat this candy bar and then throw the wrapper away.
Yeah, it does seem to cause some kind of conflicts in them because they want to get caught, and they do. They're some of them start developing pretty bad psychological problems. So they can't. They're not functioning normally, anyway. They self-destruct a lot. So people's minds are kind of multifaceted. There must be certain facets inside them that are just fucking trying to stop it and trying to get him locked up.
They are probably not conscious of that, though.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Because BTK, he got away with it, and once he got away with it, he had to call the police and start talking to him.
Yeah, it'd been like 20 or
To
30
get caught.
years.
Yeah, to get caught.
He wanted to get caught.
He wanted.
I don't think he realized that he wanted to get caught.
Some part
but
of
he
him
did.
in there wanted to get caught. He knew he had to pay for what he did. You know.
But what I was going to say before was that usually with male serial killers, human psychology is complicated and stuff like that. But with a lot of them, not all of them, but there's like kind of a one-to-one relationship between some shit that happened to them when they were kids and shit that they did as serial killers. You know what I mean? So it's not difficult to see how they got from A to B. Like there's no big complicated rationalization or anything like that. Like I said, BTK was into those magazines and invented all this stuff in his head about building dungeons and all this
Being
other
the
kind
Minotaur.
of crap. Being the Minotaur.
Yeah.
And all this other kind of crap. You know what I mean? And that's kind of usually... Well, and who was it? The guy that we were talking about the other day that... the one with the foot, like the feet inside the shoes? Like that serial killer. Was it Jerry Brudos? Yeah, the shoe fetish slayer. Like we did a show.
Yeah.
We did a show about him like a few weeks back.
Yeah.
And he very vividly remembered finding a pair of women's shoes like in a junkyard or in someone's like garbage or something, and being completely fascinated by them when he was like 5 or 6 years old. And that was like one of the formative experiences of his life. Like I said, it's a very one-to-one relationship. And then later on, he would put heels on women and then cut their feet off and keep them.
Yeah.
So, not too difficult to figure out, like, where that fucking shit... I don't know where the fascination with shoes came from to start with, but,
Yeah, some kind of weird shoe fetish.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of dudes have shoe fetishes. Like I said, that's not unusual at all. It's actually pretty common.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I mean, Tom
Yeah, I
has
love
that
shoes.
too, but not just the shoe. Like, he likes the way shoes look on certain kinds of shoes.
I don't have it so bad where I just need the shoe.
Yeah.
Some dudes got it so bad they don't need the woman, they just need the shoe.
Yeah, they just got all these shoes that they sniff in the house
they got some weird motherfuckers only have a right shoe. They don't have any left shoes, they just got the right shoe. Yeah. That's weird.
It is weird. I get it, though. Like, because visually, like, some shoes do look really cool. Like,
yeah. If they look kind of painful, or they look like they can hurt you, I like them.
Yeah, Tom likes really uncomfortable shoes.
Yeah, if they look uncomfortable, and if they look like they would hurt you, if they stepped on you, it's that kind of thing. I don't know. It's like a stepping thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a foot as a weapon thing, but not really much into feet, but the shoes.
Yeah.
Weird.
Although it's kind of funny because you seemed not too much into those videos that we stumbled across. Well, we didn't. We did kind of stuff about the girls like stepping on the dude's balls.
No,
I thought they were hilarious.
No, I'm just.
I just laughed and laughed.
It's just
And Tom was over there like squirming, like,
I'm not in the shoes actually causing pain.
Yeah.
It's just the threat. It looks like they kind of hurt. You know what I mean?
Like they could do that, but they choose not to.
And I'm not thinking that along those lines. I'm just looking at how the shoe looks. It's just there's some really high heels. Of course, puts a woman's body in a certain posture. It improves how they look. Like their ass.
Because you kind of have to walk unnaturally.
Yeah, they're standing up more straight,
like to keep from falling over or breaking your ankles.
More straight. Just the way they step looks a lot better. Because it looks like it takes effort. So it's just kind of like it's like a female fucking signal, or it's like a ritual they're doing, something that only women do that. So a guy can kind of appreciate it, like kind of fetishize the way they're walking in those shoes. You know, because dudes don't do that. No, they do have dudes that do that, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same. So
I admire the hell out of a dude that like will actually go out of their way to learn to walk in high-heeled shoes because that shit's painful.
But it's not as weird. The female equivalent is that I had girlfriends in the past that totally would just rock up on watching me shave.
Yeah. Because
women don't shave their faces.
Yeah.
Or at least real young ones don't.
Might have to when you get older.
Might have to get older. But, you know, girls sit there and fucking, you know, want to see you shave. Because that's something that only dudes do. You know, they kind of like, that's so hot, you know, just...
And probably a lot of it, too, is hot because it's you. Because, you know, because you're a person they're in a relationship with, and that makes shit hotter, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't really give a fuck about watching a random dude shave. That's not hot, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot has to do, like I said, with context.
The context, right, yeah.
Like, who it is that's doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I can think of a lot of behaviors that if you did them, it would be hot, but if some random-ass motherfucker did it, I'd just be like, ew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to watch that. So, you know, it's
not just dudes doing that, women do it too. So I've had it with the shaving. I've also had it where women had to put when I woke up in the morning, she had to have my shirt on. Walking around
that's
in my
very
shirt.
Common.
Yeah, wearing my clothes, just walking around in my shirt.
Yeah, that's very common.
You know, just okay, that's cute, you know.
Pookie likes your shirt.
Yeah.
She sleeps on his shirts.
Yeah.
He takes them off like and puts it on the bench at the end of the bed and she just curls right up on it.
Yeah.
Every night. Oh, Camp Guy said, is this the guy that was leaving dead bodies just over the little brick wall and fence at the cemeteries? Yes, it was. Like I said, it's kind of amazing he didn't get caught because he wasn't really even being that careful. CB said, Tom, do you like the shoes if they smell of the women's feet?
No, it has nothing to do with the smell, just the way it looks.
Yeah, he just likes the way it looks.
The way they look. And they're shiny black or shiny red or red and black or silver or just... And all different kind of styles. Platform, fucking spike heels, spiked platforms... flat shoes, you know, fucking too. If they're cute looking, or even sometimes sneakers. You know what I mean? If it's like a cool looking sneaker with fucking like knee socks, like old fashioned looking shit, like from the 70s. I think that's hot. If she's got shorts and fucking knee socks and sneakers, just it could be anything. I can't really predict it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
I can't predict what I know it when I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tanya makes the point about women being serial killers and how sometimes it's worse than men. She's making the point, it's like cases like Rosemary West and the case of Sylvia Likens. Holy crap, we needed a show about that. It's a horrible fucking case. It seems worse because women are supposed to be nurturing and caring. Yeah, because they still have that kind of idea that they're supposed to be like that. And she said, and I think that's why it's more shocking when women are straight up sadistic. It probably is. I think even I've succumbed to that because like when a dude does something fucked up, I'm like, yep, that figures. But like when a woman does something real fucked up, I'm just like, damn, you know what I mean? Because like I don't know. It does have some basis in some kind of biology because obviously if it was the same, you know, serial killers would be 50-50 men and women, and it's not. It's more like 90-10. You know what I mean? So there's got to be something a little bit different. Otherwise, there'd be just as many female serial killers, and there aren't. Unless they're just way, way, way better at not getting caught, which could be the case. I'm not really sure. But yeah. So Stephen Port, he's on all of these hilariously named dating apps. I don't even want to call them dating apps. I guess they're kind of dating apps, but they're mostly like hookup apps. And on every single one of them, sometimes he would use his real name, but sometimes he would use fake names, like John Luck. That was one that he used. There was a couple of other ones. And he had, I can't remember how many profiles they said he had. It was a fuck ton. He had like a whole bunch of different ones. And on every single one, he also had everything about his background was also fake. Like on one, he said that he graduated from Oxford, which obviously he did not. One said he was in the Royal Navy, and one of them he said that he worked as a special needs teacher, which seems kind of specific. You'd think it'd been cool if he had one that said he was like a ninja or some shit like that. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm expecting. But it's like, it was stuff that sounded plausible, I guess. But, and like I said, the pictures that he used were always, they weren't great photos. Like I said, they were just your standard bathroom selfie, like in the mirror, holding the phone. And, but he would use pictures that were, you know, he'd have a wig on, and they were always like pictures that were several years old. So I always kind of wondered, like, what the dudes, because evidently he hooked up with a lot of dudes on there, because his neighbor Ryan said it was like a revolving door of, like, boys in there. Like, he was always had some new one coming over. So he was using the apps a lot, and I always kind of wondered, like, what some of these dudes thought, like, when they showed up at this Chode's house. And it's like, you don't look anything like your fucking picture, motherfucker. I mean, you know, I'm sure they were just kind of like, oh, well, I'm already here, so might as well. And then they just probably ghost him, which, you know, some of them sadly did not have that opportunity. And even some of the ones that came over, you know, he did kill 4 of them, but like he raped a lot of them too. You know what I mean? So, but as far as I know, some people did come over and like consensually have sex with the dude, which, okay, takes all kinds, I guess. Now, here was his thing. So he used a lot of drugs. His neighbor Ryan said that he came over to his house when, like, for something. He had to tell him something. And he goes over to his apartment, and he comes in. It was like an unexpected visit, I guess. And he's just like, out on the dude's table was just like boxes of little vials and like little baggies of white powder. It was just like fucking drugs. It's just like just a big table full of drugs. And so I don't know where the dude was getting all the drugs from. I don't know where he was getting all this money to buy the drugs. I don't know how much money he was making as a chef, but he was clearly spending it all on drugs after he paid rent. Because he was like, he had a lot of fucking drugs. So his main thing, like, I think he would take some of them, like, as kind of party drugs, which a lot of them do, you know, they poppers and fucking shit like that. But his main drug of choice was GHB, which, of course, is known as the date rape drug. And he would use that to knock out the people that he brought home, like, for, you know, through the app. And then he would usually end up raping them and sometimes killing them. And that was generally how he killed them. That's what's kind of interesting about this dude is that essentially he was like a poisoner, kinda. I think that his whole thing was because he had a fetish about raping unconscious boys. I think he meant to kill them. I don't think it was an accident. But he didn't really seem interested in... Because, you know, like, a lot of serial killers are interested in, like, strangling them or stabbing them or something like that. Like, they get off... This dude just seemed to get off on the rape of the unconscious victim. And then he's like, well, might as well kill them so they don't tell on me, kind of thing. Like, or might as well give them more drugs so they overdose. And then also, that has the added bonus of making it look like an accident.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get caught. Which, you know, the cops did think that it was accidental. They shouldn't have. But they did. So, but yeah.
Well, they may have just blended in with all the other overdoses.
That's what I'm saying.
So it might be smarter than you think. Because how much you want to bet? Out of every 1,000 overdoses, there's one of them that was a poisoning made to look like an overdose. So maybe that's a good way to fucking mask it. They just say, oh, it's another one of those.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he was...
So
I was here thinking, like, he was kind of stupid, which I'm not saying that he wasn't stupid. I think he was kind of stupid, but maybe...
He might have found something.
He might have, like, hey, like, this will work out in my favor. Like, I mean, and it was true. Like, he didn't get caught for a while.
Oh, yeah, these are gay dudes. They're partying. They're taking all the drugs and partying and fucking. And, yeah, we see a lot of them. They overdose. Oh, they OD all the time. Maybe that's
yeah,
just,
like, it's not
when they're looking at the criminal statistics, that might... Yeah, those dudes fucking party hard, man. Fucking, they're doing all kinds of drugs and fucking each other in the booty and fucking this and that, and they die. So maybe there's something to that. You know what I mean? That the cops are... Yeah. They just blended right in with all the other ones. Fucking these gay dudes just taking it to the edge, man.
Well, I think the reason everyone got mad...
Like me and Zach. Up there in the fucking, with fucking Gavin Friday playing
in the hot tub
in
with
the
all
hot tub,
all the pink balloons and the champagne and whatnot.
Yeah, in the fucking top of the
The heart-shaped tub.
The top of the hotel. In the fucking, we had a revolving, rotating hotel. You on the camera. We're in a tub, bubble bath, a whole plate of drugs. Yeah. Angels playing from Gavin Friday. Every time that song comes on, it goes, "This is me and Zach's song." Jen starts like,
I was like, "Oh, bring out the pink champagne,
Zach,
get in the heart-shaped tub, get the bubble bath."
That bit's been running for fucking years now, almost a decade. I've been telling that story about me and you in the hot tub. It never happened, but fucking funny.
But it is funny.
Sometimes it's a hot tub, sometimes it's a bubble bath. It all just depends on.
Well, it could be a bubble bath in a hot tub.
Yeah,
well, I guess you could. I was thinking more pink heart-shaped tub. Yeah. Remember that Dan Bell video where he was at that abandoned couples resort in the Poconos, and he was in there and they had that big heart-shaped tub. That was in there, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking, except pink, not red.
Yeah.
I was thinking a big heart-shaped tub. Because they have those in those cheesy ads. Or they used to, like, back in the day. Papa says it's not gay if cocaine is involved.
Yeah.
It's a little loophole there.
Yeah, all kinds of whole plates of drugs, Quaaludes, cocaine, poppers. We're going to have fucking poppers. Rush, we're snorting Rush and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sounds like a party.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does. CB says the police think the first victim's death was an accident, but he found it turned him on more than the rape. Now, see, that right there is a possibility. It could be that the first victim did overdose accidentally, or I don't think he overdosed accidentally, like willingly. I think maybe that Stephen Port gave him too much and he died. And then he's like, well, you know what? That's kind of hot, though. I'm going to start doing that. So, yeah, I could see that happening. Because I don't really think... He did a lot of rapes prior to this. But I think that was the first murder that he did. So that kind of makes sense. That it was sort of accidental on his part, not accidental on the victim's part. Because the thing about it was that I don't think, at least as far as I could determine... at least his murder victims, I don't think they knew they were taking the shit. He was like putting it in their drinks and shit. He was like slipping it to them.
What was he giving them?
GHB.
Okay, yeah. Notorious date rape drug.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it was GHB, but I got slipped that one time many years ago at iBar.
Yeah.
When I was with my first husband.
I got hit with something that made me fucking crazy. For only a few hours, then it went away. Weird.
No, mine just knocked me right out.
Yeah.
Knocked me right out.
I think it might have been ketamine that they got me with.
Oh, maybe.
I was functional, but I was fucking crazy.
Yeah, you were acting like an insane person.
Yeah, I acted like an insane person for maybe about an hour, 2 hours maybe.
Yeah, it was a long time. It was a while.
That's not that long.
Yeah.
No, I'm used to drugs lasting 6, 7, 8, 9 hours.
Well, I mean,
12.
LSD does, I know.
Yeah. It lasted a couple hours, and it never came back. I don't know what it was. Whatever it was, I never had it before, and it didn't. It was just weird. It was like a weird out of body experience.
I never saw you act like that before.
Yeah.
But yeah, the shit that I had in my drink was, I literally was like, I don't feel good. Like, after I drank like that much of my first drink, and I can drink a lot, and I was just like, you guys, I don't feel good, and then I just passed out.
Yeah.
So it took like less than 5 minutes, and then I didn't wake up again until I was in the car on the way home, and I was barfing into my lap.
Yeah, it was me, wasn't it?
No,
okay.
That was with my first husband. So
Okay.
Like I said, I was with people happily, so nothing bad happened. But yeah, that was fucking weird.
Yeah, there was a whole spate of that happening at that club around that time. That went on for about 18 months. 2 years.
I think it was probably the same. Well, I'm not really sure who was doing it.
It was the same person, I think.
I think it was probably the same person.
It was somebody we knew,
or the same group of people.
It was somebody we knew,
but
because it was in our circle of friends.
Yeah,
I think I knew who it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, I figured it before. I ain't gonna say.
Yeah.
I think I knew who it was. That's what I think it was.
I mean, it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me.
Well, think of the other shit that dude's done.
Yeah.
And he was younger and dumber then.
True. But yeah, there was kind of... Because a couple of our friends got hit right around the same time.
You see, I don't think the people that got hit were always the intended person, too. It'd be easy to get the drinks mixed up because we had that drink shelves.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes people would kind of leave their drink there and then go out and dance, and you weren't sure whose it was.
Could have been that some people got... Because remember, they got Tori.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was going to say, I thought Tori got hit, too.
She was hanging out with us when they got her.
Yeah.
So it was somebody we knew.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck was going on with that. But yeah, like I said, I don't know if it was GHB or not, but that's what this dude was using. And I think the fact that he was using that kind of helped him elude capture because, like I said, he wasn't strangling people. There wasn't anything suspicious on the bodies. Like, they hadn't been shot or stabbed or nothing like that. So it wasn't obviously a homicide. It's like, oh, they just OD'd. So it was easy to, like, look at it and say that, I guess. So his first murder victim. Like I said, he'd been doing rapes and stuff. They didn't actually find that out until later, like after they caught him, and then some of the victims actually did come forward and testify in his trial.
Zach says, I don't think Viagra's supposed to last 9 hours, Tom. No, Viagra can last 24 hours.
It lasts about 24 hours,
About 24
actually.
hours. It lasts a long time.
Yeah.
People have this thing where you take Viagra and they think that you immediately rock up and you're just hard.
No, that's not.
No, you could take it and fucking... There's nothing. There's no increase in your desire or anything, you know. But when it comes time, comes time, you know what I mean? Like, this is a sexual situation. You blink, fucking... and you're good. And it's just normal. It's like, but... You're gonna be like that for 24 hours. You can fucking... Your what they call your refractory period.
Refractory
period. It's like you're a fucking 16 or 17-year-old. If the desire was there, you could do it. Very common in porn.
Yeah, you don't have to wait too long after
No.
busting it out like to go again, even when you're older.
It has a lot of other benefits too. It's just part of my fucking routine. If you're on fucking any kind of hormones and steroids and shit like that, they all can all synergistically work together. That and thyroid or T3. Fucking I'm on T3 now. I fucking love this shit. Talk about fucking burning off fat, man. You fucking... Every time I look down, I'm a different shape. Just fucking burning my waist in. I'm losing 1 pound, 2 pounds a month. And I haven't really increased anything. Just been the same.
Yeah, Klaus says, I'm on all that. Are you kidding? Or Klaus said that.
I'm on everything. I like high-performance drugs.
Jen Allen says, alopecia is a thing for real. They were talking about baldness earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, women get it too, but... it's not as common in women. And I think that women are maybe... Because they're just more used to doing shit with their hair. Or they're more willing to wear wigs. Or... You know, I don't really know. But you don't see it
Being bald doesn't mean that one of the most beautiful women we fucking know is bald.
Yeah. You have to have a certain face shape, though.
Yeah, she's tall and thin, black, fucking... She works at fucking Universal Studios. She plays Storm and all these other little characters, and she works at Disney, too. And then she wears wigs. She can have any hair she wants, just whatever she puts on. She's bald. I also don't understand these dudes in their 20s and 30s or whatever, and fucking losing their hair, and they're fucking devastated by it. I was constantly shaving my head from the time I was in the military and onward. I'd shave all my fucking hair off, or I would fucking have real fucking high and tight so I could grow it out. And then by the time I was in my late 40s, my hair was just the quality wasn't there, so I said, fuck it, just shaved it off. But I didn't have any kind of fucking emotional tie to have a hair. I look good bald, you know? And I just fucking grew some facial hair. Just take a different look. You just don't want to be fucking fat and bald.
Yeah,
that doesn't look as good.
And that's the thing. If you're losing your hair, like that's the thing with this guy. It's like if he he wasn't a great looking dude. Let's be honest. But and I don't feel bad saying that because he's a fucking serial killer. But if he was losing his hair, like he had the bald on the top and then the ring around the side. Don't ever fucking do that. That does not look good on a single fucking person.
No, shave it all off.
Just shave it all off. You might as well.
Yeah. And you go, well, I'm fat. Well, shit. There's all kinds of dudes that are fat and bald look good. Kingpin. You watch that fucking the evil supervillain Kingpin was a big fat dude. He had big old fucking shoulders and shit. Was strong and he looked cool like that. And when he was the good dude who played fucking Baby Huey, fucking who's that actor? He was in Daredevil. He played
the one that played Kingpin.
The one that played Kingpin. What was
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, D'Onofrio. He looks great. Heavy set. Fucking bald. You can pull. Anybody can pull.
That dude's kind of hot.
You can pull if you got the
even
body.
when he's fat and bald. There's just something about him. I don't know what it is.
Anybody can pull off bald if you have the body to match it. You know, either you're real skinny or you're muscular or you're just a fucking built like a fucking tank. You know, you don't want to be round. You know, Kingpin was square, just a big square shoulder and a round head and fucking
Yeah, I mean that works because you look like an old school gangster.
Yeah, like an old school gangster. He's wearing a suit all the time. You know,
like you look like one of those cartoon like from the Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Get a zoot suit.
Yeah, and what's his name? D'Onofrio. What's his
D'Onofrio.
name? D'Onofrio.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Vincent D'Onofrio. And when he played that Kingpin role, man, fucking that was one of the best portrayals of Kingpin ever.
He was in The Cell too.
Yeah, and he was great in The Cell too. He wasn't fat then. He was playing the bad.
Yeah, he was thinner. Well, he started out pretty because I saw on Brandon Tenold they did a weird Australian post-apocalyptic movie. What the fuck was the name of that thing? I can't remember. And he was in that too, but when he was real young.
He can lose or gain weight, I think, at will.
Yeah, he's one of those actors that is like, hey, we need you to be 300 pounds for this role. No problem.
Yeah, I got no problem. Yeah. Okay, we need to be 150. Okay, no problem.
Okay, no problem. I'll just not eat for several months. You know what I mean? Like fucking Christian Bale did for The Machinist.
Yeah.
He's like, he just chewed gum for like 5 months and like chewed gum and drank coffee and like looked like. Ooh.
But that first few fucking seasons of fucking Daredevil when he's playing Kingpin, which I liked about it is that they made him a sympathetic character. He's a villain, but he was doing it all for love of a woman. Remember that?
Yeah. He was a great character.
That was a great character.
He's a really good actor. I like pretty much everything he's in. Like I said, there's something, and this is what I mean. It's just like there's something about him that's like kind of sexy. You know what I mean?
Well, he's got gravitas.
Yeah, I can't explain it, but
well, he's magnetic. It's charisma.
Yeah.
You can't. Charisma is something that you can't buy. It's something that you have to formulate.
Yeah.
You know, you have to earn it. You have to earn charisma.
Zach says Christian Bale's doctors must hate him so much. I've thought that too. Because wasn't he also in Vice where he played Dick Cheney and like he put on a bunch of weight? But that was Christian
Bale, and he looked and acted just like Dick Cheney.
He looked just like him. Holy crap! Tanya said it was good. Tanya said, in my youth, I had a crush on Bruce Willis in that series when he was a detective. I guess Moonlighting is what she's talking about. Bald can look really good. Yeah, he actually was, he's not really my thing, but it's like, I could totally see that. Like, he was actually, like, pretty sexy in that.
Yeah.
It just depends on, like I said, bald, you can work it. You know, obviously.
You need other stuff to back it up. But, yeah. You can work bald.
Yeah. You can work anything, really. Well, almost anything. I'm not going to say anything. You know what I mean? There's some stuff that probably...
I like being bald. It wouldn't look as good on me if I wasn't jacked, and it wouldn't look as good if I didn't have facial hair. Because I tried it without facial hair. It's better with the beard. And fucking... And it helps if you fucking have a physical impression. If your physicality makes some kind of an impression. Either real skinny, or fucking jacked, or like I said, or just a fucking square tank. Something that can make some kind of a statement. Just before I started working out, I was just kind of mediocre. There's no statement there, you know. You got to do something to get something. Everything takes some kind of effort or discipline to build something, and you know, and other people will appreciate it. I do it for me. I like it, but I also like the reaction I get from other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do it because I care about how people see me, you know. Because I'm trying to be polite to you.
I don't want you to have to look at my ugly ass when I go out.
Right? Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. Well, that's why I appreciate it when I look at somebody and they're doing great. Jen's seen me. I'll just go, "You look fantastic." Jen's seen me. I'll see a big jack motherfucker and go, "Dude, man, you look fucking awesome." You know what I
They
mean?
love that.
They like it. Really? Yeah, you
Because
look
dudes
fucking
commented
great.
on it to other dudes like,
Yeah, you look fucking awesome, man. How much do you weigh? Oh man, shit, look at you, man. God damn. Give me front double bicep. And they go like that. They go, no, man. You know, yeah. And I'm not bullshitting him. I like it. You know?
Yeah.
Because he cared enough to put himself through that shit to build that.
Well, I've told Tom it's like I wouldn't even go to Dollar General without makeup on, so.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't want other people having to like look at my troll ass. You know?
Yeah. You're not a troll.
I know, but you know what I mean. It's the principle of the thing. I don't know. You never know who you're gonna run into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's funny is if I'm looking like a dirtbag though, that's when I always run into fucking hotties who love me. There's something about it.
They're like, ooh, a dirtbag.
Yeah, dirtbag. Yeah, but, hey, how you doing? He's got stubble.
Yeah. Jen says, in our current Florida weather, I'm considering shaving my head bald. Honestly, if I looked good bald, I would. It would be like so much fucking easier. But unfortunately, I do not look good bald.
Yeah, she's growing her hair out.
I'm growing my hair out.
That's why she's always got the wigs on.
Yeah. It's like, it doesn't look bad now. Like, it's kind of all getting to the same length, but it's...
Trying to grow her bangs out because she had bangs.
Yeah.
She's trying to grow it all out to one length.
Yeah, like Morticia. I'm trying to get Morticia
Yeah.
hair going.
Or the chick from fucking Farscape. She had even though that was a wig.
Yeah.
But it looked really good.
Yeah. I'm trying to do that kind of
Yeah,
shit.
that hair would look good on you.
Yeah.
What was her name in that movie in Farscape? The name of that character?
Aaron.
Aaron.
Aaron Soon.
Aaron Soon. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Turns out that was a wig. But we were saying, man, she's got gray hair.
I know.
It wasn't her
I
head.
kind of suspected it was a wig, but it was a good wig. Like, you couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back to the fucking...
Yeah.
Zach said you could always do one of those spiky-looking pixie cuts. That would look good on you, Jen. I don't know. I've done, like, shorter, like, bobs and stuff like that, and it's just, like, I like it the first day I do it, and then the next day I'm like, what the fuck did I just do? It looks terrible. I don't think I look good with short hair, to be honest.
No.
I don't think.
No.
Because I don't, my face is too round.
Just round. Your face is too round.
You know, it's just, that's kind of my curse. It's not
You'd have to
great.
lose about 30 pounds.
I mean, all in my face.
And all in your face.
It's
And
not going to
You're
work.
not going to lose in your face. She just genetically, through her mom, is going to have a fat face.
I just have a little fat face.
Yeah.
Every woman in my family has a little fat face.
Yeah.
Which in a way is kind of good because you kind of have a baby face that makes you look younger.
Makes them look younger for longer.
But-
her mom still looks young.
Yeah, my mom's in her 70s.
Yeah.
So, but you'd never know.
You never know she was in her 70s.
She's dating a dude my age.
She's dating to do my age.
Yeah. Well, we're about the same.
Yeah,
age.
but yeah.
Like, yeah.
And she goes, "You're not mad at me?" And I says, "Of course not. No, that's awesome." And she's like,
fine.
"You guys are so awesome." Because she comes from a real conservative kind of background, her mom, and she thought people would look disapprovingly like, "No, you did your duty. He's your ex's dad, man. Fucking go out and have fun." She goes,
Yeah.
I thought I'd hope you'd see it that way. Yeah. Have fun. This is your
And like
life.
I said, it's not like some 80-year-old man dating an 18-year-old girl. I'm like, they're both adults and they're both older.
Yeah,
like,
he's in
it's
his
not-
50s.
Yeah, like that's not weird. Like even though the dude's like, his age, like she's dating somebody her, that could be her son, but it's just kind of like I don't know, that's not weird to me. Because like I said, it's not that big of an age gap really once you get to that age.
No, once you get to that age, it's not that much.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not that weird, creepy power dynamic thing going on. All right, so Stephen Port's first murder victim was a 23-year-old named Anthony Walgate. Now, I think I have a picture of him somewhere. Here he is. There he is right there. Kind of looks like he reminds me of the dude from that 80s band. I can't think of who it is. But yeah, that was his first victim there, 23 years old. Now, he picked him up. He was actually a fashion student. He was studying to be a fashion designer. And on the side, to make money for school, he would work as a male escort. And he was on the app called Sleepy Boys. And so he was actually... according to everybody that knew him, they said that he was real picky about his clients, honestly, and like, he wouldn't go with them if he thought anything was sketchy or anything like that. And the thing about it, though, was that Stephen Port, I guess, like, got through his filter somehow. So he picked him up, or he set up, a date, like he pretended to be a client, on June 17th, 2014. and he actually offered to pay him £800 to stay overnight. Now, the sad thing about this is that Anthony took all the precautions like you would take, like a sex worker would take. They basically he told all his friends what the dude's name and like where he was going and all this other kind of stuff. And one of his friends said that he had told him, he's like, oh, here's all the information in case I get killed. And I was like, oh, that's fucking awful. Because, spoiler alert, he did. So, yeah. So he was trying to be careful, but obviously it didn't work out. So he gets to Stephenport's flat. And Stephen puts some GHB, evidently in some, and I don't even think it was an alcoholic drug, or drink. I think it was just like a regular ass drink, and I think he put GHB in it without him knowing. And when he went unconscious, Stephenport raped him, and then Anthony died from the GHB. So, like I said, I'm not really sure if he gave him that much GHB knowing he would die, or if it was an accident, like he gave him an overdose and he was like, oh shit, now what do I do? And then decided to do something. And then like he decided he kind of got off on it. I'm not really entirely sure.
It could be that he did it
accidentally at first, and then like he decided. That's what CB said, and that actually makes a lot of sense to me.
And then he got a thrill out of it afterwards. He got away with it. And then he was like, let's do it again.
Yeah.
I can bump him off this way. I didn't get caught the last time.
Yeah, it might have been that. Like, he just got, like, this big fucking jolt out of it. It's like, oh my god, I did this and I didn't get caught.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And didn't have to pay him.
Yeah.
Because what didn't he agree? 800?
800 pounds, yeah.
Okay,
I was like, wow, that's a lot
now
of money.
he doesn't have to pay him. Yeah.
I mean, I guess for an overnight stay, that's not that much money, but it's just kind of like...
It's more than what he wanted to pay.
Clearly.
Yeah.
So yeah, see, that's what these dudes. That's another thing they get out of paying sex workers. It's like, well, they get the sex and they just kill them, and then they don't have to pay. So win-win. You know what I mean? in a fucked up kind of way.
That may be what happened.
They might be thinking that.
And then he's going like, well, I can do that again. I'm going to hit that one. I'll tell him. I'll pay him 15.
Yeah.
And then I'll just kill him.
I'll pay you £1 million.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, he's obviously has no intention of paying it. I was kind of thinking about that. Because for a second, I was like, wow, £800, that's a lot of money. But like, I guess I'm not really sure what the going rate for escorts are, to be honest with you. But I guess for an overnight stay, that's not really that crazy. Considering what you got to do, you know what I mean? So, here's the crazy part. So, Anthony dies in his flat. And the next day, evidently, I think he went to work like normal, leaving this dead kid in his house. And he comes home from work and he drags the body out and leaves it in front of his apartment building. And then calls 999, which is, obviously the British equivalent of 911, calling for an ambulance. And the 999 call, you can hear it all over the place. It's like in a lot of documentaries and stuff like that. And he basically says that there's this boy, he's laying outside the apartment. He didn't say it was his apartment, his apartment building, even though it was. He basically tried to make it seem like he was walking or driving past, and he saw this kid slumped against on the sidewalk. And he's like, I don't know, he looks like he's had a seizure or something, like he's unconscious, or maybe he's just drunk.
Yeah, we heard the call.
Yeah, like I said, the call is all over the place. You can hear the actual call. And he's like, well, I don't know what happened to him. And they keep asking for the address, and he says where the address is, which is his building, you know what I mean? But he didn't say that. And then the dispatcher was asking, well, what phone number are you calling from? Here's the thing. This was kind of confusing because Tom's like, well, can't they trace it? They knew what phone number he was calling from because they called him back. But I think they were trying to get him to say, like, are you calling from a phone box? Or are you calling from a cell phone? Are you calling from your flat? Like, where are you calling from? You know what I mean? Like, where are you seeing this? So, because they knew his phone number because they called him back because they asked him for his address. Like, where's your address? Where are you calling from? And he hung up. And they were like, hello? Like, where'd you go? You know what I mean? And so the cops show up at about 8 in the morning, and Anthony was dead. Like, they had asked Stephen Port, who obviously they didn't know it was Stephen Port. He didn't give them his name. It was an anonymous call. And they asked him, like, is he breathing? It's like, oh, I don't know. Like, I can't really see. Like I said, I think he was saying that he was driving home from work and just saw this kid. And Tom was like, you know, you'd think that would be fishy right away, because if you were just driving home from work and you saw a kid kind of just, like, sleeping, or what appeared to be sleeping, just kind of, you would just think it was like a homeless person or
I mean,
or a drunk or something like that. Especially if it was like the middle of the night.
I wouldn't even have noticed it.
Like, unless they looked fucked up, like they'd been beat up or something. Like, you normally, I don't think most people would call or notice.
Yeah, you just seeing some dude on the side of the road fucking crashed out. You're like, yeah, fuck that bum. I just keep driving. Wouldn't even fucking think about it.
I mean, you'd think.
Yeah, that dude fucking fucked up. Look how drunk he is. Fuck that dude. Now just keep driving.
I mean, I would just think they were drunk. Like I said, unless
the cops,
they were obviously bloody or something like that. Like, you know, obviously
laying out like he's half dead. That's different.
Yeah,
but that's sus right there. I see this guy, and he looks like he's passed out.
Like, he specifically said he looks like he's had a seizure or something.
Yeah, how do you know what the
that's
seizure
that's what I mean. I would think, and the dispatcher, to his credit, also sounded kind of suspicious and was trying to get some information out. It's like, well, you know, where are you calling from? Like, what can you tell if he's breathing? Like, what's going on with that? But like, he was kind of cagey. Like, Stephen Port was kind of cagey about it, trying. Well, I don't know. You know what I mean?
He didn't have to say anything. He could have just left that dude there. He just wanted to see what would happen. He was trying to resolve it.
That's what's kind of weird about it. It's like, really, he didn't have to call at all.
No, just left him there, and then they'd find him tomorrow.
And then Tanya said, do you think he wanted to get caught since he dumped two at the same place? Maybe so. And like you said, you know, even if the kid had died in his apartment and he dragged him outside without anybody seeing him, evidently, because I think he dragged him out in the middle of the night and there was nobody else around.
He could have just gone back in there and not done anything.
And I mean, if he'd have just gone out, like, people would have thought, oh, well, this kid just OD'd. Like, it wouldn't even have anything to do with you. Like, why would you call it in? Either he felt guilty, or he wanted to see what would happen and wanted to get caught. Maybe.
Because it was up in the air, so it was hanging.
Yeah.
And anticipation was killing him.
Yeah.
He wanted to try to resolve it.
Maybe.
She says, let's speed this up, see what happens. And then once they didn't do anything, he's like, okay, I got away with it. He's a dumbass, though.
He is
no reason to call.
He is a dumbass.
Should have just left him out there. When they
found him, really. I mean, I was gonna say there wasn't anything to tie him to it other than the kid telling everybody where he was going, because that's what he did. And
then he called.
But they didn't check that though. So.
But then they called and it was his voice. He called.
Yeah.
They got a recording of his voice saying, "Yeah, there's this guy."
But he called him a boy. He's like this boy.
He's
unconscious. I think he had a seizure or something.
He had a seizure or something. Might want to check on him. That's sus right there.
That is pretty sus. But, like, the cops evidently didn't think so. Like I said, the dispatcher seemed to think it was kind of suspicious, but the cops didn't think it was suspicious.
Yeah, because...
You could tell, because the dispatcher was, like, sounded kind of...
Well, yeah, because here you are. You're ratting him out. You're calling the cops on him. They're going to show up and fucking send him to jail. You know what I mean? Fucking... So, calling the cops isn't helping him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you want to help him, just let him sleep it off.
Yeah.
All right. That's not what the deal was, though. He was dead, and dude knew
he
it.
was already dead. Well, like I said, I think he'd been in Stephen Port's apartment, like, all day.
Yeah.
Because I think the kid died the night before, and I think, as far as I could determine, Stephen Port went to work the next day like nothing happened, and then came back that evening and then dragged the body out. So he'd been dead several hours at that stage. And he just left him there. And like I said, he called the cop. He didn't have to, but he did. So I don't really know what the fuck was up with that. So it's like so fucking weird. So they found Anthony at 8 in the morning. And what?
DVD Dragon said the guy was coming for that Tom Hardy back arch booty and not taking no for an answer. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
But they had to be asleep, though.
Yeah.
He could only get off if they were asleep. That seemed to be his fetish. Like, they said he was even on forums and stuff where that was people's fetish. Like, they can only get off, like, if the person was unconscious.
Yeah, there's no performance anxiety.
Like I said, that's
nobody's watching him.
One step on the path to necrophilia. That's what that is.
Yeah. It's always about performance anxiety.
Yeah, it's like no one's judging you.
Yeah, she's not there. She's dead.
Yeah.
So you know, so you
So
can
I
rock
can do
up
what I
now.
want,
You can
and
do
it's
what
just,
I want,
yeah.
and nobody's watching you, so you can rock up. You're not under any pressure. That's what that's all about.
It's so messed up.
Yeah.
It's so messed up.
Yeah, he wants to have sex with you, but he doesn't want you there.
Yeah. I was like, get a sex doll, bro.
You're gonna give him stage fright.
Leave real people alone. Tanya said maybe not wanting to be caught, but most of them want credit for what they did, so they write letters or give hints, etc. Yeah, maybe this dude just low-key wanted to get caught. I'm not really sure.
I think he wanted a resolution to the body out front.
Maybe so. Like he wanted to get rid of it and wanted to see it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to say.
He was trying to get over that hill.
Yeah. That's fucking weird. So yeah. So they find his body. Now, they did bring Stephen Port in, because they discover later that he was the one that had called, and obviously he was found in front of his apartment building, and you know they had set up a date or whatever. And basically, at first, Stephen Port told them, "I don't know that kid. I was just walking past or driving past, and I saw him, and I was worried, so I called the cops." Blah blah blah. Now it turned out that later on, he was picked up again about it. And he admitted, oh, well, I did have a date with that guy. Like, he did spend the night at my apartment, but he OD'd, like, on his own. Like, I didn't have anything to do with it. And I didn't know what to do, and I panicked, so I left him outside the apartment and then called the cops anonymously. And the cops bought it. They bought it. And here's the thing. They didn't search his apartment or his car. I think when they took him in, they took his laptop. Had they checked his laptop at the time, there was all kind of super sus Google searches on there about unconscious boy rape and all this other kind of shit. And they probably would have seen all of his catfishing accounts and all of that. But they didn't check. It's like they took his laptop into custody as far as I'm aware. But they were like, man, they didn't even check it. They didn't have anybody look at it or anything. Which is fucking crazy. You know, like 3 more deaths could have been prevented had anybody done their fucking job, but like they obviously did not. They believed his story. Now, he did actually do a little bit of prison time later on, because I think he killed Anthony in June of 2014, and then in March of 2015, he was actually arrested, but not for murder. He was arrested for perverting the course of justice, because he had lied about not knowing that kid before. Like, he basically said, hey, I don't know that kid. It was just a rando kid. But then, like, later he admitted, no, he did spend the night at my house, and he died in my apartment accidentally, and I didn't know what to do. So they did give him a very short jail sentence. I think it was like 8 months. And they let him out after that. And I think they put, like, an electronic tag on him or some shit like that. Like, so, but they didn't really... So he did a whole 8 months, like, in jail for that.
For a murder.
Yeah. Which, like I said, had they done their due diligence at the time and at least checked his fucking laptop, because there was all kind of fucking shit on there that was, like, so suspicious. I think, and even had they searched his apartment, because I know later on when they arrested him for the murders, they found, like, a whole bunch of photos and videos in the apartment of him raping unconscious dudes. So had they searched at that time, I think some of that shit was in there. So, again, they probably could have saved the next 3 victims from being killed, but no, they didn't do that.
Would they have known that they were unconscious, though?
I don't know. I haven't seen the photos or videos myself, but... I gotta pee.
All right.
What happened to your shoes?
Nothing. I had to take it off. I had to fix my sock. Oh. Sock got all bunched up. Oh, okay. Okay, let's see what everybody's saying. DVD Dragon was bringing up the Tom Hardy back arch. I haven't seen the Tom Hardy back arch in a long time. Zach sent that to me. That's what they're talking about. In case you're new to the show. Zach, he's in the comment section right now. Zach was a Facebook friend with Tom Hardy before, I guess, he was famous. I think that's what the story was, and was copying a lot of the photographs that fucking the young Tom Hardy was posting. And he had some wild ass pictures. He had like golds in his mouth and fucking shotguns and pictures of his girlfriends and him fucking around, him standing and fucking in his fucking stupid ass fucking underwear with a fucking baseball cap on and taking pictures like he's a redneck. And one of them was he's laying in bed with a camera in his hand, a cell phone camera in his hand, taking pictures of a mirror that was next to the bed, and he's fucking doing the back arch position. I don't remember if he had underwear on. Did he have underwear on, Zach? And anyway, Zach saved that picture. And I have to admit, fucking Tom Hardy has the back arch fucking position down to the science. that was some money-making back arch. That's how he got his early roles, on the strength of his back arch. Very few could do it. I saw that shit. I said, man, I can start practicing my back arch, man. Fucking Jazz, like, that's hard to do. I said, yeah.
Yeah, I can't do that. Yeah, Zach said that photo came from his old MySpace, and no, he didn't have any underwear on.
He didn't have any underwear on, yeah. Just taking pictures of himself.
Why not?
He looked white trash as fuck in most of those pictures, too.
Did, yeah. Donnie says, feel similar to pyromaniacs that are accidentally there. These people seem to thrive off being involved somehow and testing the cops. Yeah, and cops kind of know that, too. That's why whenever there's something that happens, like an arson or something, like, they always, like, look in the crowd because, like, the arsonist is probably there because they want to watch the shit. Same thing with murders. A lot of them come back to the same spot, like, to see what's happening. DVD Dragon says, I like the profile pictures in the bathroom with the turd in the bowl in the background. It asserts confidence and lets people know you're eating right.
Tom Hardy didn't have that.
No, that's what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. That was a black girl that had that.
I've seen more than one.
Yeah.
But there were a couple that were kind of famous. Although I wonder sometimes if somebody just photoshopped a turd in the bowl back there.
Maybe.
Because that sounds like some charity.
How could you not know you're taking a selfie and in the background there's a fucking turd in the bowl?
I mean, why don't people don't flush? That's disgusting. Come on now.
Fucking funny.
Or at least close the toilet. I mean, why would you leave it open?
Maybe it was Photoshop.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe somebody photoshopped a turd into there. That seems more likely now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah. So after this chode got let out, he killed 3 more people. Now his next victim was named Gabriel Kovari. He was 22. Now he was originally from Slovakia and had been living in London. And he worked in a shop in London. And he actually moved in with Stephen Port for a little while. So he was actually his live-in boyfriend because the neighbor that I saw the interview with, he had met him a few times. And Gabriel, he said that one time when Stephen Port like went off to the bathroom or something like that, like Gabriel said to him, like in confidence, he's like, Stephen isn't the guy you think he is. He's actually like really mean, or he's like really abusive. So he did say that. So I have a picture of him too. Where is that? There's Gabriel right there. So, you know, like I said, these guys are all in their early 20s, but he liked them younger. Like, he liked them ones that looked younger. You know what I mean? And smaller than him. Because, like I said, I mean, he was a pretty big dude as far as tall. But he liked kind of short, younger looking dudes. Twinks, as they would call them. Now, he killed Gabriel pretty much the same way. I don't know how long Gabriel lived there. I don't think it was that long. It was maybe a few months or something like that. But he eventually did give him GHB, raped him, and then he died. And he basically phoned his victim's sister and told her about it, but I think under a different name. And another thing that he did, I think he did this a lot. Because remember I said he had all these different catfishing profiles and these fake profiles with fake names and shit? He went on Facebook and made a fake Facebook profile and told Gabriel Kovari's boyfriend that, oh, I think he went to one of those crazy sex parties where all these older gay men like take advantage of young men like that with all the drugs and stuff like that. He went there with some dude named Dan. He's like coming up with all these stories as to like, you know, what happened to these people, like that other people did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it sounds like the way that he said it, like in the messages, sounded like it was his own fantasy. You know what I mean? Like
right.
these big sex parties with like old dudes, because he was older at this. He was a lot older than them. I think he was in his 30s or 40s at this point. And these big orgies where there's all these old guys and there's all these drugs, and they ply all these young twinks with drugs and do horrible things to them and stuff. And he was saying to Kovari's boyfriend that that's what had happened to him.
What does Zach say about this? Zach, these parties that you go to where they're giving you all these drugs, these old men, how bad are these old men?
Old men are terrible, kind of across the board, to be honest with you.
Zach says they're not that bad.
I'm just teasing. But yeah, Gabriel, after he killed him, he dragged him to a nearby cemetery. I think it's called St. Margaret's Church of Antioch or something like that. And he left his body in the graveyard. This graveyard is like a 2-minute walk from his flat. So if you're keeping score, first victim found pretty much right outside his apartment building. Second victim found like a 2 minutes walk away in the cemetery.
Yeah, he's right there.
Right there.
It's bullseyeing where the killer lives.
Yeah, but they didn't pick up on it. And the thing about here's the fucked up thing too. I think CB mentioned this earlier. 2 of the bodies that were found in the graveyard were found by the same woman. Because she was walking her dog. She walked her dog like every morning or whatever. And she always walked the same route. And she found like 2 of the bodies. I was like, fucking man. That poor woman. It's like bad enough to find one fucking body. And then like, what, a few days or weeks later, it's like there's a fucking another one. Like in the same fucking spot. I can't imagine. So yeah. So he dumped him in the graveyard. And again, the cops found him. Obviously, this woman found him while she was walking her dog. And because he had overdosed on GHB, because Stephen Port had planted drug paraphernalia in his pockets, the cops were just like, oh, another gay kid on drugs, overdosed, case closed. You know what I mean? And it was that. Accidental death, pretty much, is what they said. And they didn't investigate it any further. At this point, like I said, because there have been 2 deaths, the gay community at this point is like, I think maybe something weird might be going on. Like 2 deaths in that short of a span of time, like in that small of an area, seems a little weird. It's like, maybe you might want to look into that. But no, the cops didn't want to look into that. So the third victim was named Daniel Whitworth. And I have a picture of him also. That's Daniel right there. And
It looks like the same. It looks just like the first guy.
Well, yeah, he had a type for sure.
Yeah.
He was 21. He was kind of an outdoorsy dude. And he was also a chef. He actually worked at Canary Wharf in London as a chef there. And he actually had a live-in boyfriend who he'd been with for 3 years. But he was also kind of active on the apps, and that's where he ended up meeting him. And again, he sets up a date with Stephen Port, goes to his flat, and gets drugged and raped and then dumped in the very same cemetery. The very same spot, really, as the last one, which is crazy. And again, the cops didn't, even though the bodies were left in the same spot, the same place in the graveyard. And it was like only like a few weeks later. And the cops were like, nope, nothing to see here. Like, you can see why everyone was mad.
Yeah.
Because it's like, duh. It's like, obviously there's something going on. And then the 4th victim, which, like I said, the cops didn't get their shit together until the 4th guy was killed. The 4th guy was 25-year-old Jack Taylor. I have a picture of him also. This is Jack right here. And, yeah, same kind of thing. Now, hit the wrong button.
Yeah.
I hit the wrong button.
Yeah, all right.
It was easy because I don't know if you guys use OBS, which is like the streaming software, but it's like it has all these little scene things over here.
Hopefully they didn't lose the audio.
No, I don't think. Well, I don't think so.
All right.
Oh no, maybe they did. They probably did.
All right.
I'll go back and like fucking
Yeah.
talk because you didn't miss anything.
They're going, what happened? They were laughing.
Well, when I went down to the scene that had the pictures in it, like I accidentally clicked on the starting soon scene instead of the main full screen scene is what happened. Because they're just in like a little list, you know?
Of what to roll.
Of what to roll. And it's like, and sometimes I hit the wrong thing. Because if I rearrange stuff, like when I put pictures in there, like sometimes I forget where it is.
We need new shit, by the way, anyway.
Well,
intros, outros, new music.
I know, well,
we've been running that shit for fucking years and years and years.
Well, only a couple years. But like I said, when I have time, I don't have time to...
All right.
Because that takes a long time to do, you know?
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, I just don't have time to do it. But I'll get around to it one of these days.
New song and everything. About time to just freshen up.
Yeah, well, like I said, I just haven't had time.
I wouldn't mind doing like a vaporwave song.
I just haven't had time to do it.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll add it to my list of a million other things I have to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's see, where was I? Okay, so Jack actually lived in Dagenham with his parents. He was a forklift driver. Now, he was not out. His relatives, I think, I mean, his sisters, like, later said, yeah, we suspected, but he never really said anything, like, outright. What he would do, there was the Trades Hall Club that he would go to. He would go there all the time. And he was there on the particular Saturday night before he died. And he had called a cab and had gone to meet Stephen Port, like it was like real late night, like after the club, you know what I mean? After they'd kind of chatted online, like over an app. Now, there was CCTV footage of them walking together. And like I said, you can see it on pretty much all the documentaries and everything like that. The cops didn't think any of this was suspicious because later on, when his body was found in the same cemetery, except I think it was a little bit outside the cemetery, but it was the same fucking cemetery, so pretty much the same spot. They said that they had footage of him walking alone to that cemetery, but then later on they didn't have that. So, you know what I mean? Or they didn't see that or whatever. But it's like, so they had ample footage of him walking with a dude who turned out to be Stephen Port on the night that he disappeared. You know what I mean? So the CCTV footage, which they did not think was important at the time, would actually be one of the things that finally got this motherfucker arrested. Now, and his family, Jack's family, had the fucking... Like I said, Jack Taylor, the last victim, his sisters were instrumental in getting this motherfucker caught. I'm convinced. I really don't know how many more dudes this guy would have had to kill before the cops would have got off their asses and done anything. But these women were, like, relentless. Because they're like, we know that he was murdered, and we want you motherfuckers to do something about it. And they would, like, do detective work on their own. Like, you know what I mean? Like, doing their jobs for them, like they said. So, like I said, the second and third victims were found in the graveyard, and the same woman found them, as I said, walking her dog, the poor unlucky woman. And Jack Taylor was actually found by a garbage collector in the park, like, next to the graveyard. Like, he was kind of slumped against the wall on the outside. And one thing that Stephen Port would do was that he would plant drug paraphernalia on the victims so it looked like they had OD'd. Now, one of his... Okay, so on one of the victims, Daniel Whitworth, he also planted, aside from the drug paraphernalia, he also planted a suicide note. And in the suicide note, he tried to make it look like Daniel Whitworth, the third victim, had killed the second victim, Gabriel Kovari, and felt bad about it and killed himself because of that. In this suicide note, which obviously Stephen Port had written, he made the very hilarious, there's a hilarious, it would be, if it wasn't so sad, it would be kind of like blackly comic. I thought it was kind of funny anyway, where he added a sentence in there, "Please don't blame the man I was with last night." Because the man he was with was Stephen Port. Stephen Port wrote that fucking letter.
Of course.
And the fact that he put that in there, like, oh my God, I was like, holy shit, this is like, that is a rookie mistake. Why would you fucking put that in a suicide note that you are not supposed to have written? Don't blame that guy that you saw with me on CCTV. He totally didn't do anything, and he's super awesome. Yeah. And, like, that's like,
we
what
were
the
just
fuck?
walking together, this and
What
that,
the fuck?
Yeah. Fingering him. The dude getting ready to kill himself wouldn't think that way at all. He'd be just going on about himself and why he's doing it.
Yeah, and like
Wouldn't
even
be trying to clear other people.
When they showed that to his family too, they were just like, that doesn't even sound like a suicide note.
Yeah.
Like, cause some of the wording and stuff like sounded really weird.
Yeah, it's not a suicide note; it's an alibi.
Yeah, I mean that's essentially what it was. Don't blame that guy I was with.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, that made me laugh. Like, I know that's fucked up, but it's like,
don't blame that handsome blonde dude with the.
You know what? That would have been even funnier. Like if he'd said that.
Yeah.
That super hot guy I was with last night, man, he was so awesome. He had the biggest dick, but he didn't have anything to do with it. I promise. He was just so awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was that kind of...
He was trying to save me, but he can't save me. I'm fucking... Goodbye, cruel world.
It was that kind of energy. Yeah. And I'm just like... That's what... The addition of that line in the quote-unquote suicide note... I'm not saying... Okay, admittedly, it's maybe, sorta, kinda clever in a stupid way to... be like, well, I've killed a third person, but I'm gonna make it look like a suicide, and then also make it look like they committed suicide because they killed the second victim. It's like, ooh, covering my ass there. Like I said, kind of clever in a sort of stupid way. But then to add that into the note, I was like, this dude is dumb as shit. Why would you do that?
I don't know.
That doesn't sound anything like a fucking suicide note. But the cops again kind of bought it because they're also idiots, apparently. But yeah. It's like, I don't know why that made me laugh so much. It just really did. Now, the original inquest into the, obviously, murders, but they didn't think of them as murders at the time, were all open verdicts, which usually, open verdict just means they can't determine whether it's accident or suicide or homicide. Now, the coroner said that she thought that at least Daniel Whitworth's death was suspicious, because one of the things she thought was suspicious was that he had bruising underneath his armpits, like someone had picked him up and like dragged him like that, which she said, suggests to me that there was obviously another person involved who had dragged him there. But like I said, the cops didn't really want to, kind of hear it at that point. And he was also wrapped in a bed sheet, and the cops didn't check it forensically, which is dumb because it came from Stephen Port's apartment, but they didn't find that out until like later on. They didn't test it for DNA or nothing, which, like I said, you'd think that they would do that in a suspicious death, but none of this was done. And so all of these bodies, these are 4 men. And they were all found within a 2-minute walk of this motherfucker's apartment in just over like about 15-month period.
A master criminal.
And yeah. And it's just kind of like the cops just did not link them at all until the 4th one. They didn't go through his laptop. They didn't do DNA tests. They didn't search his apartment. They didn't search his car. Nothing.
Well, we don't know what do they need to do that? In the U.S., you'd need a bunch of court orders to do that. I don't know what.
Well, you need probable cause, and if you have enough probable cause, you just go to a judge and get a warrant. And the warrant is like pretty specific. Like it'll say, hey, the warrant you can search their car, but not their house or whatever. Like, or you can only search this part of their house or their shed or whatever the fuck. Yeah, I don't know. I don't imagine the laws in the UK are that different, but you would think if this many people had been found dead, like within walking distance of your flat, and you were kind of known to be on these apps that these victims were also on, I mean, he was at least smart enough to usually like wipe their previous messages and stuff. And, like, sometimes after he would kill a person, he would delete that app. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, his profile wasn't there. And like I said, he rarely used... I mean, he did use his real name on some of the apps, but I think most of them he used pseudonyms. So... But like I said, they didn't really seem that all that interested in catching him. But like I said, had they checked his laptop, he had all these fucking weird Google searches about, you know, unconscious boy rape and all this other kind of shit. And they actually, it's weird because they asked him about that. Like, because there's bits you can see, like, bits of the interviews of him, like, after they finally caught him. And they said, so you Googled unconscious boy rape. Or it was like some kind of phrase like that. Like, what was that all about? And he's basically like, well, it was just general porn, you know, just looking for general porn.
Yeah.
That's all. You know, I'm like, yeah, but normally, okay, but just general porn. However, 4 people who were boys were also made unconscious and raped and also murdered. So it's a little fishy. They just, like I said, didn't tie them until later. But like I said, so Jack Taylor's family... Also, you know, the gay community was, like, really big in... There's a, like, a website called Pink News, and they were really kind of pushing for it, too, because they were like, look, there's this fucking serial killer, you know, please do something about it, and they were kind of writing to the cops and everything like that, trying to get them to do something about it.
Klaus is in there laughing at me, calling this dude a master criminal. Yeah, he's a master criminal.
Yeah, like...
Master criminal, sure.
Yeah, he's fucking special, all right.
Yeah, real bright.
Yeah, not
All right,
really.
just remind everybody, man, fucking super chats are open. Had a single super chat this night. Jen's worked very hard on this show, and fucking I just want to go ahead and throw out the fucking collection plate out there, and maybe we can buy Jen a drink. Please buy Jen a drink. Thank you very much. Okay, and to get back up, right. I just got to start plugging. I got to start plugging things.
Okay, yeah. So yeah. So like I said, for a long
Master
time,
criminal.
Master criminal.
Master criminal.
Yeah, so I kind of feel like this is one of those cases, maybe it's not the only one, where the Metropolitan Police were really kind of run through the ringer. Afterward, like I said, I've seen like BBC documentaries that were like that were just kind of like, you know, what the fuck was going on over there. They didn't do anything that they should have done. They didn't interview anybody. Thank you very much.
Asking you shall receive.
Klaus sent us a super chat. Thank you very much,
Who's
Klaus.
that?
Very
Klaus?
much
Yeah,
appreciated.
Klaus?
Yeah, he's got a.
He sent me 100 knock. I don't know what a knock is. But he gave me $100.
I don't know what
it's probably about $200, probably about $20 based on the color.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
thank you
Yeah,
very
because I
much.
know it's like color.
It's color coded,
but
yeah.
I don't remember what.
If it's
color-
red, it means it's 100.
Yeah, I don't remember what
Yeah.
all the color coordination
Yeah.
means though, because I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but it's like different colors.
Oh,
oh,
money
we got
coming.
another-
Thank you
oh,
very
thank
much.
you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, SideQuest Hero is back. She gave us one. Thank you very much.
SideQuest can't
I
show
dropped back in since my Xbox was updating.
All right, thank you.
Oh, thank you very
Thanks,
much.
SideQuest.
You didn't have to come back if you're not feeling good. You know what I mean? Yeah, Zach says Norwegian kroner. LOL.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remembered. I knew
That's that merciful fate money.
merciful.
Yeah, that's that King Diamond money.
That's way more metal than American money.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah. Now, here's the thing. So there was kind of like I said, they didn't interview any of the neighbors or anything like that. Oh, we got another one. Oh, thank you very much,
Oh.
Pop77.
What's up, Pop?
Sorry, I've been slipping today at work.
It's all
Here's
right,
20
bro.
just for doing my favorite subject. You guys are great. I enjoy the serial killer episodes. Yeah, I enjoy.
Thank you
doing
very
them.
much. Thank you very much, Pop. Papa dropped a 20. Thank you very much, Pop.
Thank you very much.
You the
Well,
man.
see, all Tom's got to do is beg.
Just gotta act, yeah. Well, they forget. No, we got good subscribers. They just forget.
He's just got.
They just forget that this isn't charity. So no, they're just tipping. They're tipping. Thank you very much.
Klaus says Merciful Fate is Danish.
It's Danish. Okay. All right. Y'all are the same. Come on,
He's like,
it's all you Viking
They're
motherfuckers.
like typical Americans.
Yeah,
Like, whatever.
it's typical American. You know.
It's not like it's a whole other country or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. It's not like it's another culture or anything. You know?
Oh my
Hey man, I heard a British chick fucking going on about how she wanted to visit fucking New Orleans and said New Orleans would be the best state, probably one of the best states in the United States. And New Orleans was not a state, New Orleans is a city. So it's
In
not just
Louisiana.
us. Yeah, it's a
Well,
city
yeah,
in
I
Louisiana.
mean, well, that's the thing. It's just kind
She
of
wanted
like,
to visit New Orleans. Yeah.
yeah.
As it like it was a state. Yeah.
I'm sure that's probably pretty
Yeah.
common.
Yeah. New Orleans is not a state. It should be a state,
I mean, probably.
but it isn't. It's a city in Louisiana.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Class says Iran, Iraq. What's the difference?
Iran, Iraq, Persia. Yeah.
Whatever. Close enough. All those other, they're all just foreign. That's what I know.
None foreigners. It's all those Norsemen, you know. Even though I heard the Swedes are very different from the Norwegians and the Danes, that they're nothing alike.
Well, yeah, I mean,
That they're
cultures
nothing
are very
alike.
different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just kind of like
I think the
that
Danes
lumps them
and the
all together.
Norwegians fucking kind of look down their noses at the Swedes for being fucking crazy. But you know.
But to be fair, a lot of people think all Americans are the same too.
Yeah, even though there's so many different regions here, there's 50 different states, and our states are countries. They're not like provinces in another country. Our states are like nations. The United States is like the United Nations of North America. Like our Civil War was not a war between civilians; it was war between states. It wasn't even a civil war. It was a war between states. They had governments and armies and uniforms and everything.
Sidequest Hero said, like foreigners who visit for a week and want to go to L.A., Dallas, New Orleans, and New York and plan to drive. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that one too.
That's good. You're gonna drive. Yeah.
Like, I don't think they realize those are all different cities in different states, but they don't realize how far apart they are.
Yeah, they're looking on the map and they go, well, it's just this big.
Like, if you want to drive from New York to L.A., that's like over 3,000 miles.
Yeah.
That's going to take you a while. More than a week, that's
Yeah.
for sure. Like, if you stop and stuff. Even if you drove straight through, which you couldn't. Like, it would take too long. But yeah, it's how far is that? 3,000? I don't remember exactly. It's over 3,000 miles.
I don't realize that fucking Texas is twice the size of Germany.
Yeah, I mean, most of it, like, Texas is fucking... Well, even Florida, it takes about 8 hours to drive from the Georgia border down to Key West. It takes about 8 hours. Because even when I lived in Daytona, which is about an hour north of here, it took me 5 hours to drive to Miami. And that's just one state. So... And I live in the central-ish part of Florida. To drive to the next state up, Georgia, to drive to Atlanta is 6 hours. So, and to drive to Key West, like I said, about 6-7 hours from here. And that's just Florida. It takes 3 hours to drive just across the state. And it's kind of narrow. So, about 3 hours. Maybe more. Yeah, about 3 hours. All right, so where was I? Okay, so like I said, it seemed like it was mostly people in the gay community and the victims' families that were doing a lot of the legwork for the cops in this case. Like, they were even researching the cases individually and being like, man, these cases are so similar, why aren't they being linked, and all this other kind of shit, and then, like, bothering the fucking police about it, calling the detectives and whatnot. And the cops were just, they said basically the cops just blew them off at first. They were just kind of like, no, not linked. We already looked into that, blah, blah, blah. And the deaths are not suspicious. Like, they were just overdoses. And it was really frustrating because I feel like a lot of people in the community knew that something bad was going on and that there was possibly a serial killer, which they were obviously correct about. And the cops really didn't seem to want to do anything about it. Even the woman that found 2 of the bodies, which is crazy. But it's not that crazy because he dumped them in the exact same spot, and she walked her dog. She lived in the neighborhood, so she walked the dog past that area, like, every day. And so she found 2 of them. And even she thought something was up, you know what I mean? And she said the cops just don't know their ass from a hole in the ground, pretty much. You know, even she said that. Well, she didn't say that exactly, but that's what she meant. So, yeah, and another thing, too, is that a lot of the families, particularly one of the victims where they said, oh, they'd overdosed, and they're like, they didn't even take any drugs. They're like, they were anti-drugs. They were very against drugs. It's like, why would they overdose? You know what I mean? The whole suicide note thing, like, they showed it to the family. At first, they just showed them, like, a piece of it, like a fragment, and they were like, well, that's not enough to, like, determine if that's their handwriting or not. But then the cops went ahead and said, oh, the family said it was their handwriting, even though the family said, well, we're not really sure because that's not enough to tell. But then later when they gave them the whole letter, they were just kind of like, yeah, that's not what his handwriting looks like. And he's like, and also that doesn't sound like anything he would say. So, and again, the cops kind of ignored that. So, you know, like I said, a lot of fucking, and some of the cops did get investigated and kind of get in trouble for this. Because it really does seem like they sort of fell down on the job. I don't know if it was just because they legitimately thought that there was nothing to this, or if they just thought, oh, it's a bunch of gay druggies, they don't really give a crap, or what. I don't really know why. A lot of the victims' families said that the cops were kind of dismissive of them, and were just kind of like, oh, deal with it. You know, they just overdosed, like a lot of them do. Like, you know. So I don't know if there was some kind of fucking homophobia going on, or something.
Man, these gays, they party, man.
Yeah, and it's just
These
like, I
gays,
think they
party,
just thought...
Yeah, they just were thinking they're hedonistic, they're partying, they're fucking each other, and they're taking all these drugs, and then they fucking OD. You know.
Yeah.
That's what, and yeah, hey, we gotta admit, gay dudes fucking party.
They do.
I mean, there's no
They
lie.
know how to
You
party.
can't lie about that.
They know how to
They
party.
fucking party their asses off. They got
Nothing
fucking
wrong with that.
They're fucking got the best music in all the clubs. Yeah. They know the club life.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
Gramps was just talking about, I think he said something about this earlier, but I didn't get a chance to comment on it. But he said, word on the street is Abyss will soon surpass Slimelight in London.
Yeah, that's the club we promote. Well, we don't know what's going to go on with the
We've only had one so far.
We
The
had
next
one
one's
so-
not till September 5th. So.
Yeah, and you see, we've been doing this for fucking over a decade, and we've been picked up by other venues and had fucking great nights, and then that venue folds, and they call you. They're calling us because they're going out of business.
Right.
And usually by the time they call these fucking cool, it's already too late. They're
Yeah.
already fucking 3 months behind their bills. So we're at one place that's good. We know they're good because we know who owns it.
Yeah.
We know they have money because that's 2 doctors.
Yeah.
They know that. So that place isn't going anywhere. And that's the Axe Trap, or the Trap.
Yeah.
The other place,
And that's a nice place.
that's
a-
our super nice place. The other
it's
place,
classy.
we don't fucking know. He hasn't been there for long.
Yeah, I mean,
And he may
Dimitri
be out of
just
there.
got asked.
Yeah.
And he's like, look, you know, we have bands play here, like oldie cover bands on Friday nights, but everybody leaves after the band is over at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so they wanted something for late Friday nights.
And he keeps asking us for more shit.
Yeah.
Can you do 5 nights a week? And when they start talking like that, they're desperate for fucking money.
Because I'm like, we
No,
don't
we
have
can't
the
do it.
numbers
We don't have the people.
to support, like, once a month or, you know, even twice a month.
maybe.
Good. Everybody will
Yeah.
come out for that. But it's just like, look, people can't afford
To go out.
to go out
every fucking night of the week.
every night of the week.
Yeah.
I mean, we go out once a week, and that's a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then we're
That's a lot of
we're
money.
competing against Tampa, the Castle. They suck down a lot of people, and then we're competing with Mannequins in Sanford.
Yeah.
They got a pretty good night, and they get a lot of people. So every time you open an event, you're stealing from the other ones. You're competing against the other one. They get mad, and then they try to retaliate.
Yeah.
This is gangster business. The club people are gangsters, all right, and we all know each other, and they'll fucking do dirty ass shit. You
We
know?
got another super chat.
Thank you very much. What is this?
Got some more. That's Klaus again.
What's up, Klaus?
Got some more from. This one is from Tanya. He says.
Some Tanya? All right. Okay.
But Klaus has sent it to me.
Yeah,
So
Tanya,
there's
is
some
he in
more-
there- is he in there
some
flirting
more
with Tanya?
Norwegian money.
Some of that down.
Thank you very much, Klaus.
Norwegian
That's
money.
very
That's
The
that
Norwegian
thing money. Yeah, from up down there.
The thing money.
That's the thing money. Yeah, fucking McCready.
Yeah, that was Norway, wasn't it? Was it?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, the
That's
Norwegians.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's Norway.
He could. Hey, Swedes, they're from Norway. They're Norwegians. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a great movie.
that's right. They were the It wasn't set in Norway, but they was
No,
another.
the Norwegians were up
The
there.
Norwegians
They
were
were
up
in
there.
in Antarctica, right next to the Americans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is just kind of. I mean, it's a big scene. It's enough to sustain, you know, a couple nights a month. But you start doing like, oh, let's do 2 nights a week or something like that. It's like everybody's not gonna show up to that because like
Yeah.
most people can't
We're
afford it.
fighting over the same pie.
You know.
No, I've been thinking about opening up something new, though. But I think there's a market for for a cosplay event to get those people. But I gotta find the right DJs that are that know that crowd or have an in on that. I could probably pull cosplay out of my ass just through my online stuff because I control a lot of online venues. Like Our Gothic Orlando on Facebook. That's my group. It's got thousands and thousands of people on it.
We started that group a long time.
That shit's 15 years old. I could probably pull a cosplay night out of that. But I don't know what those people are like, man. They might be real problematic. Maybe they don't drink much. You know what I mean? I don't know what to charge them at the door. And I don't know if they have a favorite DJ that I have to recruit or I'll just use mine. I don't know.
Because that's the thing about the older goth/80s crowd, like that goes to Barbarella, and there's some overlap with Memento and Abyss. It's like those motherfuckers will come out for certain DJs, and they like to drink.
Yeah.
So they'll spend some money.
The venue, they don't care about how many people went through your door. They care about what the bar brought in, how many people were drinking. They're like, yeah, you got 100 people here, but fucking 30 of them were fucking non-drinkers and they're fucking under the age of 18 or they're under the age of 21. They can't drink, that's what I meant, under the age of 21. And they're not drinking or they're broke. You know what I mean? But, But a lot of times, the ones that aren't drinking, they tend to be fucking younger females who are hot, and they tend to attract dudes that do drink.
Yeah.
Who are buying them drinks. So it's a game. It's a game. But I don't want to show all my hands, but once we find out more about this other place, if it's around, I'm gonna talk to Dimitri. We might be able. I think there's a demand for a cosplay event.
I mean, Mannequins does a little bit of that because they will usually do like a theme, like a costume sort of theme. Like, hey, it's pirates, it's vampires, it's something like that. I would go for the
convention people.
But yeah, I kind of feel like there's maybe a market for that.
And you see, we could promote for that with our own promotion and everything. And if we can use our DJ or get another one that's already established, we can see. I would like to. I'm going to talk to somebody in the cosplay scene and see if they have a DJ already. But I don't know of any night that's servicing that crowd.
Ask
Who would I ask?
Laura.
Which Laura?
Laura Ross.
Laura Ross. Okay, that good.
She goes to conventions all the time.
All right, I'm gonna ask Laura.
And her boyfriend are always doing cosplay shit. So I think she knows a lot about that. Or Brian, the photographer.
Okay, Brian.
He goes to those all the time too.
All right.
So they might know something about it.
Because they don't come out to the goth scene. Not most of them. Most of them don't. But that's
I'm not really sure.
That's another market.
Yeah. Like I'm not really sure. You'd have to do something to cater to that crowd because it's not like a club crowd. No. Because like goth industrial crowd's easy.
That's a club crowd.
You just play goth industrial music. Yeah. Have some booze and they'll show up. You know what I mean? But it's when you're trying to do something like that, it's kind of because goth industrial is just so focused around music. It's easy. It's easy to do a club night based around it. Obviously. Yeah. But cosplay not so much. Because they're from all fucking...
I'm thinking cosplay.
There is an overlap, but there's a lot of... That's like a wide
Following cosplay would be fetish.
Yeah, but I think fetish might work better, but there's already some fetish shit, so...
I haven't seen any cosplay stuff, and I bet you can make a lot of money with cosplay if you have a month to fucking promote it.
Yeah, we'll see.
We're telling trade secrets to our people. We don't have a huge audience. They're not local.
It's not that.
They're not local. Yeah, that's right.
Don't worry about it. Other people have figured it out too.
Because you're throwing a party.
Yeah.
We're throwing a party.
We're just trying to see how it goes.
Yeah.
All right, let me finish this up,
okay,
and then we can talk about something else if you want. Just let me finish the shit before I get stressed out.
Yeah.
So remember how I said that there was CCTV footage of Stephen Port and Jack Taylor, and the cops, so the family didn't even know that there was CCTV footage of him. And then the cops kind of told them later, like, just kind of off the cuff, like, oh, yeah, by the way. And they were like, what? Why didn't you tell us? And so they looked at it, and they're like, who the fuck's that dude? And they're like, well, I don't know. You know what I mean? She's like, what do you mean you don't know? It's like, can we fucking find that fucking person? Like, that's the last person seen with him, right? And then he turned up dead. So the cops like, well, I guess. You know what I mean? It was basically that kind of situation. So the family was like pretty mad. So they kind of got on their case about like fucking find this guy. You know what I mean? So really it was kind of that CCTV footage and Jack Taylor's relatives, mostly his sisters, that finally pushed the police into action, and they finally released the CCTV footage to the public, which they initially did not want to do for some reason. And they did, and Stephen Port was finally identified, because the CCTV footage is pretty clear. Like you can see what he looks like, you know what I mean? And so they finally did find him, and finally they went and arrested his stupid ass. Now, after he got arrested, there was a big shakeup in the Metropolitan Police. So they opened an investigation, like a commission did, and they fingered 17 police officers, wondering if they should face disciplinary action because of the way that they handled this shit. Now, I don't really know like how that's gonna go. Now, I know that the families of the victims did get a settlement, but I'm not from the Met, but I don't know how much it was. I don't think that was disclosed. That was in 2022. So obviously there was some fault found with how the investigation was conducted, and, you know, rightly so. But they did get some compensation for that, at least. But like I said, I don't know how much it was. Now, they also said that they were going to go back and look into there were almost 60 unexplained deaths that involved similar, like GHB and other similar date rape drugs. They don't know if Stephen Port was involved in any of those. They kind of doubt it, but I guess they're going to go back and check and see if there was any kind of similarities, or maybe if those were just accidents or whatever. But they are actually trying to kind of make amends, I guess, now. So after they caught this motherfucker in 2015, he was charged with 4 counts of murder, and also 4 counts of administering poison. So there was that. And they also charged him with 7 counts of rape and 4 of sexual assault. As I said, when they finally went through his laptop and his apartment, they found photos and videos and stuff like that of him, like, clearly taking advantage of unconscious men. So obviously that was, that was a big thing in arresting him. And like I said, some of his victims did come forward and testify at his trial at what had happened to them. Because like I said, he had raped a lot of men. I don't know if all of them came forward, but enough came forward that there was enough evidence to convict him of 7 rapes and 4 sexual assaults, in addition to the 4 murders. So they locked his stupid ass up, and they gave him a whole life tariff, which basically means you are never getting out. You're going to die in prison, and that's basically what they told him. So yeah, thankfully he's in jail. He tried to do an appeal, I think, but they were like, yeah, no. And so I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, he did an appeal in 2018, but they overturned it. They were like, yeah, no. And I think they've had like some people interviewed that dated him. There was like this Brazilian guy, and he was on a show. He moved back to Brazil like later, and he was on kind of a chat show in Brazil, and he had actually dated this guy without knowing about it. But then like later on, he found out who he was, so they kind of interviewed him about that. And he said he met him on a dating website to hook up, and he actually lived with him for a little while, for about a month or so. And you just fucking find out about it. Like, can you imagine fucking dating somebody that found, and I'm sure it happens, dating someone and then later you find out they were a fucking serial killer, and because he killed Gabriel Kovari, who lived with him for a little while, like was like his live-in boyfriend. So I wonder if this guy was like, "Ooh, dodged a bullet there. Holy crap."
Ridiculous.
Yeah, he said afterward that he's like, yeah, looking back on it, now that I know he's a serial killer, yeah, he was kind of like a fucking weird-ass dude. But I guess it didn't really register at the time. Because like I said, you're living with somebody, you're in a relationship with somebody, you don't really think, they're a serial killer. That's why I'm always kind of like, you know, when we talk about serial killers that have wives and shit, and people are always like, oh, the wife must have known. I'm like, not necessarily.
No.
That's not, I mean, generally the first thing you would jump to, you know? And especially if the dude has a job where he's like away from home a lot, like he's a truck driver, or, you know, like BTK was, where he was just out in his little truck, like whining about people's grass length and shit like that all day long, calling the cops on people's dogs and shit. Like if he was just out by himself all day,
I think
you wouldn't know what he was up to.
I think there's a significant portion of the human population that are not very aware. They're almost kind of like on autopilot. They're kind of like the NPC type deal, where they don't have they may be married and not really in a very deep relationship with that person, because the woman isn't very deep and the man isn't very deep. They're just kind of going through the motions. So let's say, for instance, with the serial killer, the woman might be a fucking, like an NPC, kind of limited self-awareness, a limited form of consciousness. They might have decent IQ, but they just don't really have any fucking introspection, and no their perception is kind of mid, you know? But then the dude, and I think serial killers are NPCs too, but the dude is he's a fucking serial killer, and he's able to put one over on her. Everything's kind of role playing, but they're both at a kind of and I don't see people like this couldn't fool me. I have good feelings about people. I get weird feelings about people, and I can tell when somebody's 2-dimensional instead of 3-dimensional. You know, I can sense when a motherfucker's 4-dimensional. That's when I'm really jacked. I'm like, man, you fucking awesome. But there are certain people out there that they're just extremely mundane. And that's
you can tell there's not much going on.
There's not much going on, and that's really.
And they're not dumb necessarily.
No.
It's just that
they're just not a lot there. They're very superficial, 2-dimensional. Goth people call regular people, or non-goth, a lot of times we'll call them mundanes.
Yeah, or normal.
Or
if you're into Harry Potter, you call them muggles.
Just a mundane.
Although that's pretty nerdy.
There's nothing wrong with you. It's just that you're just like everybody else. Okay.
So
but
racist.
Here's the thing. There's a lot of people that aren't gothic that aren't mundanes. I remember one time I was talking about mundanes, and a friend of mine he's a legal drug dealer. He works in the drug industry. He goes, so does that make me a mundane? I go, no, actually, you're not a mundane, because you showed up to the scene and everybody liked you. You had good character. He was dating our friend Sonia. It's
not so much. It's more like a mindset.
You can tell
than a look.
Some people. There's not much there in them. They're and I think serial killers, whenever I fucking see interviews with them, you can get that. First of all, you have that feeling that you get when you're talking to a pathological liar.
Yeah.
And then you also find out that there's nothing really there. That person is actually extremely, extremely mundane. Very banal.
It's like a chat bot.
Like a chat bot. Right. Every one of them. The only one that kind of didn't have the chat bot feel was not John Wayne Gacy had it. The one I'm talking about is the granddaddy of them all.
Ted Bundy?
Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy wasn't quite a chat bot, but he wasn't anything special either though. You know. And you got to grade him on a curve, you know. And out of them all, fucking Ted Bundy registered the most human. But he wasn't a good human.
And even that's pushing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is that here's something kind of, and I don't know if this is just because I'm super jaded, because I watch serial killer shit all the time and I watch horror movies all the time. And it's like a lot of times, like, I'll watch interviews with serial killers and like they'll talk about their crimes and stuff. And then people in the comments will be like talking about how creepy it is and stuff like that. To me, it doesn't come across as creepy. They just, I mean, kind of it does, because you know what they did. But it more comes across like they're just dumbasses.
Yeah.
Like they're just talking about, like, they don't care about anything. Like, so it doesn't come across as creepy to me. I guess that's kind of creepy that they don't care, but I already know that they don't care, so it doesn't come across as creepy.
Leonard Lake. And
they come across as kind of like stupid.
Yeah, Leonard Lake and Charles Yang. They did some horrible shit. There's a video of them.
Yeah, we did a show about them a long time ago.
Talking to a captive, and it's like these dudes are role playing. It's like it's not even real, because that's how much they lacked character or insight. You know, there's nothing to most of these dudes. That's why they're doing this.
Yeah,
there's something with them. They're trying to be more than what they really are. There's just but there's nothing there really. Just.
I mean, this guy, when they finally caught him, Klaus asked when he was arrested. In 2015, he was arrested in 2015. And he was given a whole life tariff. When I saw interviews with him, he just comes across as just very... I mean, he obviously denied everything. And actually, the guy that interviewed him, the investigator that interviewed him, was actually doing a pretty good job. Like, he was showing him the suicide note. It's like, did you write this? And it's like, he was talking about the 4... dudes, and he's like, wow, these 4 guys like turning up dead, like very similar way, like very unusual, like right by your house and all this other kind of stuff. And you could tell that Stephen Port was getting real uncomfortable, but he was just kind of denying everything, but in a way that was just kind of like, ooh, I don't know, like he was just kind of like that, like he just came across as kind of like a stupid lunkhead.
And none of the serial killers ever scared me either. To me there's nothing even intimidating about them. There's only one that was, I thought, kind of intimidating. Who's the mafia hitman dude? Kuklinski. Yeah.
The Iceman.
Yeah, the Iceman Kuklinski. But even Kuklinski, I'm not quite sure his stories are true. I think some of the stories are bullshit. Like he told a story of a guy that he tied up in a cave using time-elapse photography, and he took some time-elapsed photography of him being eaten alive by rats. And to my knowledge, he never did tell anybody where that cave was or show anybody. I don't think that cave existed. He was up in New York. I think it was New York. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. Either New York or Chicago or something. But if he was doing that, then he would... I think they would have gone to that cave. And I think he told some stories. But some of it I think was true. His story about the ice cream man that was poisoning people. And then he killed that guy. That sound kind of far-fetched to me. But some of the other stuff that he did, he evidently did do. The Iceman could cleanse.
Well, he might have just been like blowing his own horn.
He might have
a
been.
lot of them do that.
Yeah.
Although that kind of makes you seem like less badass.
Yeah, it's.
You gotta exaggerate stuff.
But out of them all, the
up.
only one that I would have ever really worried about as a threat, to me personally, would have been the Kuklinski. Very dangerous. Now, when you're talking about actual serial killers, because he wasn't quite a serial killer,
He was a hitman.
I wouldn't call him that.
That's not technically.
Not the
really.
only serial killer that I'd worry about was fucking the original Night Stalker, fucking D'Angelo.
I mean, not now, because now he's an old fat dude in a wheelchair.
Yeah. He was an ex-military and trained cop. He had good training, and he was doing commando raids. Going in, breaking into your house when you weren't home and unloading all your guns and fucking rigging your fucking windows so he could get in. And he'd go in there and he was taking out couples. And he was under all this fucking domination where he wanted to rape your woman in front of you type of deal, and then eat all your food and hang out in your house and fucking. He was all about power. And he was dangerous, very dangerous.
Well, they didn't even catch his dumbass until he was an old man.
Yeah.
And they just caught him through DNA.
Yeah, he was very...
They probably would have never caught him if they hadn't.
And he actually would get into fucking... He would shoot people in broad daylights and able to get himself out of the scene and fucking get him away and get away from the scene. This is back in the day before cameras were everywhere. They're everywhere now. But so he very comfortable with a gun, good with a gun, and wasn't scared to use it even in broad daylight. And got away. He was a real thrill seeker, but he had some. He had quality. He was about like a commando. But then again, when you actually look deeper into his situation, he's trying to compensate because the motherfucker was hung like a chipmunk.
Yeah.
He had a little bitty dick. That's what all the women who survived him
Remember
said.
how I said at the beginning, it's
trying to
usually a
overcompensate.
1-to-1.
Yeah.
He has a tiny, but it wasn't a micro dick, but it was pretty small.
He had a little bitty dick.
And because of that,
he's getting off into this power trip.
he had to overcompensate.
Yeah, I'm so much of a man that
Just
I can...
like dudes that drive those big, huge, jacked up pickup trucks.
Yeah. We live in Redneckville. Me and Jen have redneck heritage. We descend from rednecks. I understand the rednecks. I'm not the enemy of the redneck. But no, the trucks are out of fucking control, especially at night.
And I'm not
The
really
headlights are too
entirely
bright.
sure what they think, because every time a woman sees that, and probably when most men see it too, they're like, "Wow, that guy must have a really small."
The truck does not have to be that fucking big. They are monster trucks now. You couldn't just buy a truck like that off the showroom floor, even in the United States. They're making them even bigger. They're like monster trucks, and it's ridiculous. I look up at that dude and I go, "Man, I gotta beat that dude's ass. Look at that big ass truck."
Like I said,
it's
always,
a bigger truck.
Like,
so
why do you need that?
It makes you more of a man. It's like
It doesn't though. It just makes you look pitiful.
I've been fucking planning on fucking. I'm talking. Jen knows what I'm doing. I'm talking to all these different dudes in the local area, trying to get together a fucking Harley Davidson. And I want to build my own Harley. I don't really want to buy a fucking Harley. I want to build one. And really, there's two different choices. You can get the full size Harley Davidson, and you can build on that, or you can get the Sportster. The Sportsters are everywhere, but they're a lot cheaper. But the thing is that if you get the Sportster, they go, "Oh, that's a girl's bike because it's little." Like the bigger bike is better. Like that's. But the funny thing is, I look at the big bike and I don't like how they look. I like the fucking look. I like the Sportster better. You know what I mean? And I wanted to make a fucking really hot fucking evil Sportster. But then I know if I get that shit, they'll be like, "Well, you're riding that girl's bike." It's fucking ridiculous. Which is like, I could beat those dudes' ass. They're fat. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I'm saying it has nothing to do with...
They're fat and they probably have the diabetes.
I actually like the Sportster more than the
Well,
bigger
if you like
bike.
that, then get that.
Yeah, I want the sports fucking... I was thinking about, I'm a build a fucking badass Sportster, though. They're faster. And I don't need to carry a person. It'd be a solo rider. I don't even put knobbies on it, you know what I mean? Make it almost like a flat tracker or something. But I don't know, just either turn it into a chopper. And what's funny is that Sonny Barger, founder of the Hells Angels and a lot of the old fucking bikes, they rode Sportsters. They didn't ride the big bikes. It was the sport bike of the time.
Those big fucking full dress ones, you might as well get a goddamn car.
I will never have a full dress. Those dudes buy those full dress motorcycles and
That's
they just
like
ride.
for
They
old
ride
fat white dudes with big white beards.
every time I see a dude on full dress, he's a fat old dude. And they ride it 15 miles to the bar and back.
And back, yeah. Sure
And they had a shit for 20 years. It's only got 10,000 miles.
Even if
on
they go to Daytona for Bike Week or Sturgis or whatever, they don't even ride it all the way down there. They'll bring it on a trailer.
on a truck, and then they get a. So they're like LARPing as bikers. I'm a real biker. I ride all the time. I got fucking 4 motorcycles. You know what I mean? I would like to have a Harley Davidson. I just don't want I would never own a full dresser because I don't want to tour. I don't like all that shit. If I want to carry all that shit, I'm gonna get a car.
Yeah, I mean, might as well.
If it's like I had a Wambler, I'm gonna get a fucking convertible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking, a motorcycle is small and fast, and yeah, you can carry some bag, but I would get a Sportster or a Triumph fucking Bonneville, like a chopped Bonneville, something like that, like Daryl Dixon's bike, something like that, from Walking Dead.
Klaus asks, Jen, I must have an answer. Have you ever seen the movie Tony, A Portrait of a Serial Killer?
Yeah.
Well, no. We're talking about Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer,
Henry.
which is about Henry Lee Lucas.
Yeah, I've seen them.
With
Which
Michael
is all
Rooker.
fiction. All fiction.
Well,
Great
no,
movie.
I mean, it's... Yeah, but some of it's real. But I've never seen one called Tony, though.
Yeah, Henry Lee Lucas was a liar.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't kill...
He killed a couple people.
But he didn't kill all those people
He
said.
didn't kill as many people as he said, though. Granther said, Coral Watts was as mild-mannered as Southern gentleman, but killed 100 women. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you never know, because every now and then, there's somebody that comes along that seems totally fucking normal, and turns out they're a serial killer. Like, they fooled everybody. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Like I said, this kind of fascinates me going back to what we were saying before about serial killers that had wives and families and shit like that, how they could have not known. I don't know, but like you said, I think I would know if you were a serial killer.
Yeah, because I'm everywhere.
But
I'm always around.
Well, I know, yeah.
Yeah.
But even if you, like, you know, were out and worked and stuff like that, it's just, I know you're not like that.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that there's still, like, that 1 or 2% where it's like, yeah, that's maybe what other people thought, too. But maybe their relationships are not the same. Maybe they're not as...
See, Klaus knows...
involved in each other's lives as we are. Maybe they're not... I don't know.
Klaus in there talking about motorcycles. Yeah, the new Indians, I like the new Indians. But the problem is that they're new. I want something that's old. Like the Harley that I'm looking at right now, there's 2 of them that I'm looking at. One of them is from my uncle, who's fucking, he's an outlaw biker. Okay. It's a Springer, it's an Evo Softail. 3,000 is what he's asking for. But what I'm really looking at is here close, a 1981 Sportster Ironhead, an old Ironhead, for $600, but it's in pieces, and I have to assume that the engine has to be rebuilt, and it had to build it from the ground up, repaint it. I've seen photographs of it. He says the motor's good, but I wouldn't trust an 81 Ironhead. Probably all the seals are leaking and shit, so you have to fucking rebuild the whole thing. And if you're gonna go in there, you might as well fucking have the crank rebuilt, you know, and you might as well fucking... So yeah, it's $600 to get all those parts, but you're probably looking at another $3,000 to get it to where I want it. But when it would be done, it'd be a fucking sweet 1981 fucking Harley Sportster Ironhead, and I'd have this shit set up like a track bike or something, a bobber, a retro bobber. It's not a kickstart. That's the only thing. If it was a kickstart, it'd be even better. Let me go to the restroom.
Yeah, Klaus says Henry, and I was like, there was a movie called Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Yeah.
That came out in, when did that come out? I want to say 90s. Michael Rooker was in it, and it was about Henry Lee Lucas and Otis Toole. And it was mostly based on their real shit, but some of it was fictionalized too, because Henry Lee Lucas was a notorious making shit up motherfucker. He claimed that he murdered all kind of people. He would, if you had a murder that was unsolved, he would claim responsibility for it. Didn't even matter if he was in the fucking same state at the time. He just wanted to get out of jail and get a milkshake or something like that. Because the cops would take him out. Hey, let's go find the body, Henry. Yeah, I'll take me to McDonald's and get me a Shamrock Shake, and I'll tell you all about it. You know what I mean? It was that kind of shit. So he did kill 2, maybe 3 people, but he didn't kill as many people as he said. And then Klaus said Tony is a small budget movie from England. Yeah, I haven't seen that one though. But like I said, there is another one called Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, which is pretty famous, so I'm pretty sure you've seen it. But I think it came out in '96, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, like how was that? Hold on, there was something back here. Yeah, DVD Dragon said it's like technological unemployment affects serial killers. Too easy to get caught nowadays. Yeah, and I think that's why you're not really seeing the same types of... They're still out there. It's just you're not seeing the same types of shit you saw in the 70s and 80s. Or even the 60s. Just, like you said, it's too easy to get caught nowadays. And now I'm not saying there's not people out there that would absolutely do that. But I think they get caught quicker. You know, generally. It's just, it's too hard to get away with shit. Like, everybody's got cell phones now. They can track your stupid ass wherever you go. Here's another thing. I watch a lot of true crime shows, right? And some of this is not even serial killers. It's just regular ass people that murdered their wife or whatever. And so here's the thing. You murder your wife, hypothetically, and you take her out to some remote place and dump her in a ditch or whatever the fuck. And then you're trying to make it look like somebody else killed her. Pro tip. Don't take your cell phone.
Yeah.
Because your cell phone has a GPS on it. They can track your stupid ass exactly where you go. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of, so these dumbass people, I guess they're not thinking about it. And it's just like, oh, I'm gonna wrap my wife's body in a tarp and I'm gonna just like take her out to the desert and dump her in the thing. Your cell phone just tracks you the whole fucking way. Hey, what were you doing out there? Nothing. I don't know what I was doing out there. But yeah, like, leave your fucking phone at home, stupid. Although a lot of cars have GPS on it now too. So might want to, well, you can't rent a car. Just don't do it.
Don't tell them how to do it.
Well, don't do it.
Yeah.
It's too hard. It's too hard to get away with nowadays.
There's just so much stupid shit.
People still do, but people still do get away with it, obviously, and we wouldn't know because they haven't been caught. But it's too easy to track people nowadays.
Oh, you got, man, fucking the main strip down here, Orange Ave, downtown Orlando. Every couple weeks, you got some young, dumb black kid guns another fucking black kid down right downtown and tries to sneak away. And that whole fucking street, that whole area has got cameras everywhere. The cops are watching you live on that. It's like they don't understand that cameras exist. And they do it in the same spot over and over and over again. Washington and Orange.
Yeah, I mean, that whole intersection.
That whole intersection's got cameras all over it, and the cops are watching it. And then there's cops on the street there, constantly there. Yeah, what, black people don't know about cameras?
Well, they're not thinking about it, I guess. Plus, the police station's right there, too. So.
Police station, yeah, fucking dude just walked right up and just shot the other dude right in the head and then tried to sneak away in a crowd full of people. The cops are on him instantly. Yeah, murder 1. First-degree murder. That's death. Or life.
But it's just, I don't know. It's
got it straight. You got you dead to rights on camera doing it. Just dumb.
Well, the same thing happens to. There's a couple times where I've seen some shows where somebody killed. It's usually somebody that kills a relative or somebody they know, and they're trying to pin it on a random person that, like, oh, somebody broke in the house with a home invasion or something like that. But then it turned out to be their husband or their brother or whatever the fuck. And then, like, they'll catch that person a couple weeks later using the dead person's, like, ATM card.
Yeah.
Do people not know that ATMs have cameras? They've had that for decades. Yeah. I'm not really sure why. They can see your dumbass face.
Yeah.
Using that fucking debit that's not yours.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, I don't understand.
And then they'll hold a mask over their face like that. But the thing is, then the GPS fucking data from your phone that's sitting in the fucking car, they know right where you are at any time.
That blows my mind that people don't. If you're going to go dump a body, like, leave your stupid phone at home. Yeah. Duh. Like, that seems like the first thing you would do.
Master criminals, Klaus.
Like I said, I watch a lot of true crime shows. It's like, obviously the ones that I'm watching are mostly people that got caught. So it's like, obviously they did some dumb shit or they wouldn't have got caught. Yeah. Like the ones that were smart about it didn't get caught.
Well, you know? It's not just civilians. The shit was happening in the military too. Dumbass fucking Ukrainian soldiers pulling their cell phone out and live streaming on the battlefield. And then all of a sudden they get killed by artillery fire. Not knowing that the Russians can fucking see what you're streaming from where. They have satellites. They can control all that shit. They have fucking shit. They have programs inside the internet that you would not fucking believe. You turn on a cell phone in a war zone, you've targeted yourself.
I think because cell phones are so ubiquitous now, I think people forget how easy it is.
They can see it.
They can see exactly where you stand.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good in a lot of ways, obviously, but
no cell phones in combat.
But you can't. No. Yeah. And like I said, especially doing some like nefarious shit, like going to dump a body or something.
Yeah.
Don't fucking take it.
If you're a superpower level fucking power, they control cell phones. They know where all cell phones are in any given area that they're looking at. They know enemy cell phone from friendly cell phone. Go ahead, make a call. You're just giving them artillery positions of where to shoot. And then with some 155 artillery from fucking 30 miles away is going to come in and fucking come right down, right on top of you. Because you turned your fucking phone on. Yeah.
Here's another thing that a lot of people do when they commit. Usually, like I said, when they kill relatives, they kill somebody they know and they're trying to make it look like a random person did it. Like a home invasion. You know how they'll stage a robbery? They never fucking do that right.
No. They don't take what a robber would take.
Well, and sometimes they'll just do it super half-assed. Like, they'll just come in, pull a few drawers out, and throw some shit around, but it doesn't look like anybody that was looking for anything valuable. And I think they think that maybe cops are dumb, and, you know, maybe some of them are, but it's just kind of like most cops have seen enough robberies to know this is obviously not a robbery. This was, like, staged to look like a robbery. And a lot of times too, like those people have been, it's like a personal thing. So those people have been like super murdered. Like, hey, they were stabbed like 100 times. No robber does that. That's a personal vendetta right there is what that is. So that's usually a person that person knew. And like everybody knows that. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. If you're just going to try and get away with the crime. People are really... I know I'm kind of like Monday morning quarterbacking like all of these fucking true crime because I watch so many of them. So I'm always sitting there going, man, rookie mistake. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So I'm always doing that kind of shit. I know that's fucked up. I'm a sick person. It's just... you know what I mean? I'm like criticizing. I'm giving constructive criticism on how they can do better next time. You know? That's all. Klaus says USA is famous for having a lot of serial killers and UFO sightings. Now, why is that? Because the serial killers are all from outer space, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Or we're all from outer space and the serial killers are Earthlings. Did you ever think about that? Could be. Oh, I wanted to say too. Speaking of movies based on serial killers, because I said something about Henry before. In 2022, the BBC put out a movie called 4 Lives, which was about Stephen Port, which is about the victims, and it had fucking Stephen Merchant in it, played Stephen Port, and I was like, that is some... Stephen Merchant is fucking awesome, by the way. He was on the British version of The Office and Extras, and he looks kind of like Stephen Port, like not as weird. He looks like kind of a more normalish version of that guy. But I was like, man, that's some excellent casting. So, like, now I want to see that because I love fucking Stephen Merchant. So he's playing a serial killer in the movie.
Funny.
So if any of y'all have seen it, like, tell me if it's worth watching because it sounds like really good because I love him.
What's funny about the United States having UFO reports, a lot of them. I didn't realize how many UFO sightings and reports there were in the old Soviet Union. They had that shit going on also. People saying that they saw UFOs. Military and civilian. So some of the shit was ridiculous. You know? So yeah, I'm going to say fake UFO reports, even in the Soviet Union. Back in the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s. So it's just weird how that transcends fucking cultural boundaries. Most of those reports are fake or misidentifications. Some of them are quite mysterious. Maybe there's something to it.
I think probably the mysterious ones are probably like 0.05%.
Yeah, 0.05.
Most of them I think are just misidentifications.
The real mysterious
or
ones
crazy people just making shit up.
Military and police with a bunch of radar backup and stuff like that. You know, some of the flying triangle ones were very, you know, Phoenix Lights. That whole episode. Thousands of people calling in. There was something. They saw something. And then, what was it one? UFOs over, what's the one with I think 3 different police forces saw it. Over Illinois. UFO over Illinois. It was a triangle.
Yeah, we did a show about that a long time ago.
Yeah, that one was in the 90s. Quite compelling. And the guy got a picture of it, but you can't see anything other than his 3 lights. Because all they had was a fucking instamatic Polaroid. But later on, they showed him a picture of a fucking prototype stealth Zeppelin. And he goes, yeah, that's what it was. It was that. It was just there was something the U.S. was working on. It was kind of a triangle-shaped Zeppelin. It was lighter than air Zeppelin, but it was solid body. Big. That could move silently and had all kinds of stuff. I don't know what it was for. It must have been some kind of surveillance bird. And it might have been electrically powered, maybe with a nuclear reactor, like something out of a submarine powering it. Who knows? There's something they didn't want to talk about, and that was a long time ago. So they probably wouldn't be using it anymore. I'm sure shit has come and gone out of the American inventory that we'll never know about because it violated some kind of treaty, you know. And if you put any kind of nuclear power on an aircraft, you're breaking a bunch of treaties. When you do that, you're not supposed to do that. It's very dangerous because that ship goes down, you're going to have a nuclear accident.
Jen says, and if you get a burner, don't access your email, etc. Yeah, that's another way that people that are smart enough to like buy a burner phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they'll use the burner phone to access their email, and I'm
Which
just
gives
like,
it away.
duh. Also, if
Yeah.
you use your debit card to buy the burner phone, then they can track you through that because they have serial numbers. So
Granthers
if you
is
know
on.
where you bought it from, like they know who bought it.
My boy
Unless you use
Granthers,
cash.
my boy Granthers is in here,
Dumb.
and he'll tell you that if you want true clandestine communication, you use ham radio.
Yeah, I mean, you
That's
know.
what all drug users use. Fucking ham radio, fucking shortwave radio, and longwave radio. They were here in Florida. They were using it to talk to Cuba and Central and South America to bring in cocaine. They just do it with radio.
Yeah, sometimes going old school is
Just
the
old
best
school.
way.
Yeah. Nobody's watching.
Yeah. Klaus says in Norway we have this sick fuck, Anders Breivik. Yeah, we did a show about him last year
Yeah, I forgot what he did.
or something. He
That's
was
not
the
the
guy that he was the guy that shot up the camp.
Yeah, the Nazi guy.
Yeah.
He wasn't really a Nazi. He was a
Well, yeah, he was.
crusader.
He was a Nazi.
Was he a Nazi? No, he wasn't a Nazi.
I would call him a Nazi.
I thought he was a crusader. Wasn't he a Christian? I thought he was a Christian crusader,
Well, he could be a Nazi
basically.
too.
No, the Nazis were not Christians.
Yeah. Well. You
No, I mean, you can make up any kind of mythos you want.
You can be both things.
No,
Nowadays, you can be both things.
no. I don't think so. No. If you knew anything about the Nazis were definitely were trying to get rid of Christianity because that's a Jewish religion. They didn't like that.
But yeah, we did a show about that guy. I don't remember when it was, but it was a while back. DVD Dragon said Key West was... Oh yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Was weird. It was the only place in the U.S. that I've seen chickens walking around free in public. Mobile bucket of chicken walking around unafraid. There's actually chickens walking around where I used to work in Oviedo, which is a suburb of Orlando. And there was like I think it was Oviedo actually, but they're famous for like just chickens walking around. So that's not just what happened. So what happened to Stephen? Well, he's in prison still. He was arrested in 2015. They put him in prison, and he got a whole life tariff. So far as I know, he's still in there. Like I said, they
He'll be in there forever.
Yeah, they're not letting him out.
No.
I think even the judge said that you're gonna die in prison.
Yeah.
So, and rightfully so, because Jesus Christ. And like I said, look how fucking long it took him to catch this guy. I mean, thankfully, there was only 4 people died, but Jesus Christ, he would have kept going, I'm sure. Like we said, I think the first one was maybe accidental. I don't know if I quite believe that, but maybe it was, and then he just got his jollies off, and he's like, oh, I'm just gonna keep doing it. You know what I mean? No, he didn't get a death sentence. He got a life sentence. So he's just going to die in prison. They just put him in prison, and he's just going to rot in there.
Life sentence is worse than death.
Yeah, they don't have death penalty in the UK.
Yeah. Death is
Anymore.
Death is better.
Anymore.
Yeah.
They did up until... When did they abolish that? 60s, 70s? I know, shit, man. There was that one serial killer that was like the last one to get executed. He was pretty famous. I remember seeing him in the Wax Museum. But I can't remember who it was right now. Was it Crippen? I want to say it was Crippen, but maybe not. Tiny says chickens walking around all over. Sounds insane. Not really. Holy shit, we were at the food truck across from the butcher shop the other day, and there's a couple chickens that apparently just live in the little park there where the food truck is. And the rooster just crows all the time. Like while you're waiting for your food.
Where are you talking? Where is this?
The food truck. Remember when we put the food truck around?
Yeah.
Remember, there's those 2 chickens that sleep under the food truck,
Yeah.
and
They yell.
and the rooster comes out and yells.
Yeah.
I think there's 3 of them actually, but we just saw 2 of them.
Yeah, that rooster is showing off.
Yeah, of course he is.
Showing off. Chickens are, I've taken care of chickens before on farms. And when activity happens and the chickens are there and they see, look at all these people, the fucking roosters start making all kinds of noise. Beating their chest. This is my place.
Woo, look at me.
Yeah, look at me. I'm a rooster. Yeah, who gives a fuck? Yeah, but, that's just how they are.
Well,
So when people come there
He's
to
very
eat
important.
at the kitchen, he's trying to fucking show off. Look at me. I got 3 hens. 3. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 3. How many hens do you have? You don't have hens. I got 3. That's what he's doing.
Then you're just kind of like,
yeah, like I don't give a shit.
I just
about
got a
you,
chicken sandwich from this,
right.
from this food truck.
They don't know what a chicken
now
sandwich is.
Now I feel kind of bad.
He's too stupid to know what a chicken sandwich is. He's gonna
you could probably feed him some of it.
Yeah,
And he'd just be like,
Give me
okay.
some of that chicken tikka because they had a chicken tikka sandwich. Here,
That's
you want
right,
chicken
yeah.
tikka? Yeah, eat that.
Cannibal.
They don't care.
Horrible.
You could explain to them that they wouldn't care. You could.
They're like, well, it still tastes good.
You could slaughter a pig and then. You could slaughter a fucking pig in front of the fucking babies and the rest of the pigs, and then cook that pig, and then later on, those pigs are fucking asking for some of the meat. They're like, "That's your mama." You know,
that's pretty messed up. Honestly,
they don't. Yeah, don't give it to me.
I would feel bad doing that. I can't do that.
No, but I've heard about it. They're like, man, they don't realize it.
Because I'm sure like some fucked up people would think that was funny. But
yeah, here, have some.
That's your mom.
yeah. But they're just not. They're not. They're smart, but they're not that smart. They, you know. I guess they forget.
Well, they probably just forgot, yeah.
They forget, yeah.
They're just probably like, oh, food smells good. You know what I mean? They don't think about what it is.
Yeah, they forgot all about the fact that you killed their mom. And if they saw it.
They probably didn't forget that. They probably just don't connect.
Didn't make a connection, right. But then the thing is, you give them something to eat and it's all good. You know, they don't hold a grudge.
Oh, okay.
They're just not, they're not humans. They don't think the same way we do.
Klaus says, life has got to be worse than death.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Because they're going to bore you to death. That's what they're going to do. In prison, they're going to bore you to death.
Yeah, I mean, as much as some serial killers we've talked about, I would probably take great joy in flaying them alive or something like that. I think it's better to, like, make them suffer longer.
I'm fully support the death penalty. Fully. But the problem is that the way the United States handles the death penalty is that some of the guys that got the death penalty turns out that they were innocent.
Yeah,
because there was something wrong with the fucking. That doesn't happen as much as it used to because of DNA evidence and the way they're doing things. But
I mean, it still happens, but it's not as common.
But then here's another thing: dude gets a death penalty, but then it takes 20 years for them to execute
because they have so many appeals.
Yeah, so no. And then a lot of them say they've had dudes die of fucking cancer while they were on the fucking death row. That's how long it took them to do it. If you're going to have a death penalty, you need to be sure and make that shit quick. China, they have a death penalty and they're sure and they're quick about it, like a few weeks. And the reason why they're sure is they're killing you because they don't like who you are. They don't care if you're guilty or not. They want you dead because they don't like you. So you're opposing the Communist Party, or you've done this and that. And they know you've stolen money and you got to go. So the way they adjudicate things is from a totally different viewpoint. Say, because American law is based upon British common law. They're trying to worry about chain of evidence and whether it's actually legal and things actually fit the certain definition. The Chinese don't care. They've already decided that they don't like you and that they want to kill you. All right, they're doing it for a different reason. I guess you could say you're a traitor and you're going to die. You know, which maybe there is something to that system. You know, the fucking, we know you did this and we don't like you, so we're going to kill you. We don't care what the law says. You just got to go. And then, 2 weeks later, they're hauling you out there in front of everybody. And they got photographs, videos. Soldiers holding, your hands are tied behind your back and they hold your head down to the ground. Somebody with AK-47 pops you right in the back of the head in front of everybody. And they don't hide it. They let everybody see it as a warning to other people, you know. When you have people like the Chinese, that's what it takes to keep them under control. Because let's be honest, this is all about control. You know, everything in civilization is done by force. It's all force, no matter what. You say, well, it's the law. Yeah, but that law is backed up with dudes with guns, and backed up with people that can fucking put you in prison. That's all force. Without force, you don't have anything. You might as well be a caveman. And then it goes back to force anyways. Who can fight better than somebody else? So it's always force.
Tiny says, I knew a hen that favored me on a workplace many years ago. She knew exactly what places were off limits and told the other hens off if they tried anything. She was also cuddly. I've never really known any chickens that well.
Yeah,
I've heard they're dumb, but it's just like, I don't know. They don't really seem any dumber than some people I've met.
I noticed they have patterns of behavior. They do the same things over and over.
And they actually seem significantly smarter than some people I know. So,
nah. There's a chicken that had its head cut off and it lived for a long time.
Well, that doesn't have anything to do with how smart they are. That's just fucking...
They said it wasn't too different than any other chicken. It's just that it was blind and fucking you had to feed it. And then it would walk around, pretend like it was pecking the ground. They'd pour feed down its throat because it didn't have any mouth, didn't have any beak or anything. And,
I'm just
but there
gonna
was
eat
its
with my
brain
knuckle
stem.
if it's all right with you.
Its brain stem was still intact, but it was just blind and walking around and. They let it live like that. I would have killed that thing. I wouldn't let an animal live like that.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
Evidently, they've run into fish that were like that. Caught a fish that had been alive for years, but its head is mostly gone because it got caught in a fucking boat propeller.
Yikes!
But it could still function.
And I wonder if the other fish were like, "You look kind of fucked up, Carl."
Yeah, and no eyes. But they can still find food and eat because, they have other senses they can go by. And, like, most of its brain gone. Weird.
I don't know. That kind of upsets me because...
Yeah.
The older I get, the more I like animals more than people. You know what I mean?
Well, animals are honest. You know what you do. They're not strong to do deception. You know what I mean? You know what they're about. And what they want is so simple.
Well,
they want food. They want to get petted. They want to sleep.
Pookie deceives.
She tries. It doesn't work.
Well, no, but I mean, she's trying to do it. So that takes like kind of some higher reasoning.
Yeah.
To try and really, well, they think this, so I'm gonna try and pull one over.
Yeah, yeah.
On them. So like I said, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But it's like the fact that she thinks that she can do that is like pretty high level.
It's funny. Okay, so you want to go ahead and shut it down, Jen?
Yeah, I mean. We'll
3 hours. Clock's going wild. 3 hours. Well, it's easy for us. We're just drinking and doing the show and having fun.
Yeah, I'm just kind of...
Now, look, y'all need to come back Friday.
Friday is the funnest show.
Yeah, Friday. We're gonna
This was pretty fun, too.
Yeah.
Even though it was about a serial killer.
Yeah, we'll be here Friday, and it'll be open lines Friday, and then we're going to drink some more. We can talk about anything you guys want to talk about. Look, man, those carpenter ants are coming in here. That's the second one I've seen in here today.
Oh, shit.
They're these big-ass ants, and I don't know how they're getting in here.
Yeah, we found one on the bedroom floor last night.
And, yeah,
well, it was dead, but I think maybe one of the cats got him.
Yeah, where are they coming from?
Because if the cats see little bugs walking around, they'll just squish them.
They'll kill them, yeah.
But
they're big ants. Big black
like
ants. And you don't want to touch them because I think they can sting.
Tanya says, our cats own our house. We just live here. Yeah, pretty much. We don't. I mean, the cats don't. I don't get the sense that they think they own the house, but they definitely just do whatever the hell they want to.
Yeah.
But they're good kitties. They're not like super destructive. Because I've heard some stories about what.
No, so come on, let's go.
So okay.
Everybody's leaving the everybody's leaving the chat anyway.
Okay. All right. So
yeah.
I guess we're going.
Yeah.
So yeah, so hopefully you guys can come back and join us again on Friday night for the Sidetrack Show, which, like I said, we just drink and talk about whatever. There's no topic or anything like that, and it's always super fun. So hopefully you guys have a good rest of your evening. Have a good day tomorrow, and we will see you guys again on Friday night.